Drive. You are listening to The Drive on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. My name is Carrington Harrison. Excited to be here. It looks like the rain is clearing up just a little bit. Coming up later today in the basketball tournament. Yes, that is the name of it. It is the basketball tournament. The Kansas State alums are playing the KU alums. I don't know why I'm going to the game and Rob is not going to the game. Rob is an alum of one of the two schools. I am not. But I love basketball, and I want to support local basketball. Rob, too busy. I don't know what Rob is doing later today. Maybe he's really dialed into a Royals and Cubs later today so he can watch the Royals play at Wrigley Field. But Rob will not be in attendance. I will be in attendance. We are going to have Sherron Collins on the show coming up in about 45 minutes. We are also going to have Jordan Enriquez Roberts on the show. One KU alum, one K-State alum, one Sunflower Showdown pride on the show today. We'll get to the George Karlaftis contract coming up in just a little bit. We'll also talk about what that means for Trent McDuffie. A lot of things have happened over the last couple of days. I need you guys to do me a couple of favors first. Number one, I need you listening to The Drive each day at 2 o'clock right here on 96.5 The Fan. And you know what? I need you to tell one friend to check out the show. I would greatly appreciate that if you did. So, before we begin today, I want to tell you guys that I was wrong. If you follow me on Twitter, when the deal got tweeted out, I said I'm not really sure why the Chiefs were in a rush to get this deal done. I was getting cooked. And then in the back of my mind, I was kind of thinking, well, maybe we need a little bit more information. Because, sometimes these NFL contracts have sticker shock attached to them. I do think there is some sticker shock attached to this George Karlaftis deal if you were just looking at it purely through the raw numbers. 4 years, $93 million. When you see the 4 for 93 and you see how much is guaranteed, it is whoa, that's a lot of money. But then once we got more information and we got more details on how this deal is structured, I actually think this deal makes a lot of sense on both sides. Let's get into it. So this is an extension at the end of his 2 years left on his rookie contract. So if you extrapolate it out, it's a 6-year deal that pays out $105 million for an average of around $17.5 million a year. That's not that bad of a deal. Now, we're talking about new money, total guarantee. We don't have to get into all of it, but it has his cap number around $5 million for this year. His cap number's around $15 million for next year, which it was going to be anyway because that's what the 5th-year option is. It then jumps up to $23, $25, and $22 million, which is not bad for a good pass rusher. I'm not ready to call him a great pass rusher. He's certainly not in that elite level conversation, but George Karlaftis is certainly a good pass rusher. When I started to think more about this deal, I don't really see too many scenarios outside of an injury, but you can't control that. I don't really see too many instances in which you think the Chiefs could get in trouble with this contract. If anything, I think there is a chance that we could look a year, 2 years down the line, and we think, man, they got George Karlaftis at an absolute steal. We talked about this a lot last week, and we'll get into it more as the show progresses. I mean, this is a good path that he's on. He got 6 sacks his rookie year. He got 10.5 sacks his second year. He got 8 sacks last year, had a good postseason. This is the cusp of where his career could go. If you look at it like a fork in the road, you could take that next step, you take that jump, you become Max Crosby, and the Chiefs got him for an absolute steal. Even if he stays where he is as a player, and he never takes that jump, he doesn't have a 13.5 sack season. We're not looking at him like a Pro Bowl, all-pro caliber player. He's just a good, proven pass rusher. There obviously is a value for that player. We're talking about somebody who is 24 years old and is going to be 25 next season. So even if you look at the way this deal is structured, and it basically locks George Karlaftis in for the next 3 or 4 years, if you're George, what you're thinking? I lock up some guaranteed money now on the short term. Yes, I'm not taking my full value. The full value for George Karlaftis would be betting on himself. The full value would be not taking the deal right now, going out, putting up a big season, and making yourself an extra $10 to $20 million in the process. But if you're him and you're thinking, all right, this thing guarantees me $32 million. It's going to guarantee me $62 million over the life of this deal. And by the time this contract expires, I'll be 28 years old. In theory, when I could maybe be in line to get a new contract, you can live with that if you're George Karlaftis. You also could live in a situation where if you're the Chiefs, and we all know how it is, once you kind of get upside down when it comes to the salary cap, you can renegotiate that deal, extend that deal, move some money around, and you keep a promising pass rusher on your roster. This is not a bad deal. I don't know if it's a great deal, but I'm not sure if it's also a great player. I think this is a good deal for a good player. That's what it is. I was wrong by the initial sticker shock of seeing the 4 years, $93 million. I was thinking, wow, that's a lot of money for George Karlaftis. This deal really isn't that bad. I would say that this is a growing or evolving contract. It locks you in for the short term. You are already going to be locked in for the short term. And if George Karlaftis exceeds this and outplays this contract, then in 3 years, we'll be having this conversation again, and George Karlaftis will be 27 years old. He's one of the better pass rushers in the league, and he's asking you for a new contract. So on both sides, I think this is a deal that makes sense. If you're George and you're not willing to bet on yourself, you take a little less money now, but you do lock in a guarantee. You get to continue to be on the Kansas City Chiefs. Not going to be mad at you for taking $30-something million guaranteed. That's not the wrong play. If you're Kansas City, this is a player that you clearly think is about to make the jump, a player that you clearly want to build around, that you think is a part of your core. You lock that player up. You give yourself incredible flexibility over a 6-year span of time, and you can go from there. So, Rob, I want to have you in on the open on this because the Chiefs did exactly what you want them to do. You are big on the moment you can sign a contract extension, you try to lock that player up to a contract extension. I probably still would have waited until at the end of year 4 to see what happened and pay a little bit of a premium for known production. But I'm not mad at you taking the jump. You think you've got a player locked in. You are basically locking up on the back end, so he avoids free agency. You have that player under team control. And again, I find it hard to believe that they will ever be in trouble with this contract. It's just not a lot of money. Even if he's a guy that gets you consistently 8.5, 9 sacks a year, that player, it doesn't sound crazy. That player is worth $20, $21 million a year because there's just not many of those guys that are in the league. This is a good contract for both sides. Not a great contract for both sides. This is a good contract for both sides.
This is a good contract for both sides. And what I like about it is A, the number is relatively low, and B, they're paying a good contract to a great position. Carrington, one of the themes of this show this offseason has been me and you frustrated by the Chiefs paying non-premium positions. They have been positional value incorrect a lot of the offseason. That's how I felt. That's how you felt. We've talked about in the show. Right guard gets left tackle money. That's nonsense to me. They are paying a good contract to a good player at a great position. And if he balls out, they are going to be getting a great player on a good contract. If he continues to do what he's been doing, he's just fine, and the contract makes sense. I also feel like people are looking at this as a 4-year, $93 million deal. They need to look at it as he's locked up from now to 2030. Because Albert Breer, former friend of the show, Albert Breer.
Definitely former friend of the show.
He fell out of the circle, points it out, and puts it in this lens. The Chiefs have Karlaftis locked up through 2030. So from now to the end of 2030, that's an average of $17.5 million per year. So the totality of the deal from now until the end of the 2030 season is $105 million. But you and I, it does not matter the name, would easily pay an edge rusher $17.5 million on a 5-year deal. You would do it, I would do it, everyone would do it. So the Chiefs are paying a good player, a good contract, and they are locking up his prime. Now, maybe at 28, he turns into a pickup player, a late bloomer, Trey Hendrickson, a late bloomer, and now you got to have a tough decision. But from basically the day he was drafted until he's 28 years old, you have him under contract, and you aren't paying him that much, and he plays an important position. Sign me up for that every day of the week.
You made a good point when we were getting ready for the show that this is essentially what baseball teams do, where you buy out arbitration. We don't want to get to a point where we use the franchise tag on you. We have determined that you are a part of our future. You are a part of our core. We are building if you want to call it phase 2 of Mahomes' career. We've seen phase 1. They won a lot during phase 1. They are currently winning a lot during phase 2. But as Patrick Mahomes is getting closer to 30, you are in a different phase of his career. As his contract continues to get big, he's already done one extension on a deal. We imagine that another extension is coming as more quarterbacks get paid and more quarterbacks get paid. I don't think at 33 years old, Mahomes is going to be the 13th highest paid quarterback in the league. I think they're always going to be evolving and moving his contract around. So you also need other contracts that do the same thing around his. So the point that you made earlier about this is kind of like a baseball contract where you extend a player, but you buy out the rest of his arbitration. That's kind of what they've done with George Karlaftis. I think it is very obvious what the Chiefs' plan has been in the last 2 years. And we'll talk more about that coming up on the other side. We spent a lot of time talking about those draft classes that Brett Veach put together. Now is the time to determine what the future looks like for those guys. You got tremendous value on a bunch of guys on rookie contracts. You're starting to sign a lot of them to second deals. What does that mean for your staff? What does that mean for you? And you got to keep doing this. If you want to keep winning championships and keep going back to them and keep competing at this high level, you got to keep finding guys like George Karlaftis. That's how you win in the National Football League. Let's go over this from the Brett Veach portion of this. We're talking about the George Karlaftis contract, which is a really solid contract for both sides. It adds 4 years on the back end of the deal at $93 million. He gets $62 million guaranteed, but it's kind of spaced out over these first 3 years of the deal. This is a solid contract for both sides, one that I think makes a lot of sense. I also understand why it was easy to get done. If he's at a premium position and he's willing to agree to a contract extension the way that George Karlaftis was, I see how they got this deal done. We'll talk about what this also means for Trent McDuffie, who it appears possibly got skipped in the line when it came to a new extension. We'll get to that and more. We also got Sherron Collins coming up in about 30 minutes. Keep it locked in right here. It's The Drive.
You're listening to The Drive with Carrington Harrison.
For the first time in a long time, I'm willing to dream that this can be a special season for the Missouri Tigers.
Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. 96.5 The Fan.
Flooded bathroom? AC on the fritz? When things go wrong, you need reliable service fast. Call Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter and take $50 off any HVAC, plumbing, or electrical repair over $200. The pros at Hamilton are ready 7 days a week to fix the problem. Over 40 years experience, more than 8,000 five-star reviews, plus our exceptional service guarantee means you can trust Hamilton to bring comfort and calm back to your home. Visit callhamilton.com for details, terms, and conditions. License number 2025-11121.
Hi, I'm Mitch Holtis, voice of the Chiefs. Make history this summer by attending Kansas City Chiefs training camp in St. Joseph, Missouri. There's still time to join me. For more details, go to stjomo.com. stjomo.com. In St. Joe, you'll discover 150 years of history, where the Pony Express began and Jesse James ended. Experience history, make history. Go to stjomo.com. Produced in cooperation with the Missouri Division of Tourism.
There is only one National Summer Arms Show, and it returns to Kansas City this weekend only. Bigger than ever. Buy, sell, and trade with freedom lovers from coast to coast and border to border. All gathering at the KCI Expo Center for one incredible weekend. Discover vintage rifles and handguns, modern arms, and collectible militaria. From Civil War artifacts to today's tactical gear, there's something for everyone. Stock up on ammo, brass, reloading gear, and military surplus. Explore blades from everyday carry to high-end collectibles. Visit the Colt collectors, the high standard collectors, and the returning Marlin firearms collectors. There's no buyer's premium, just $15 a day or $20 for a weekend pass. Kids 15 and under are free with an adult admission. The 54th Annual National Summer Arms Show. This Saturday, July 26th from 9 to 5 and Sunday 9 to 3. It's the Midwest's highest caliber event and the 5th largest arms show in America. Details online at nationalsummerarmshow.com. That's nationalsummerarmshow.com.
Ring the bell. We've done it again. Golden Oak Lending has lowered rates to 4.875 fixed. Lower your monthly payment, get cash out, pay off credit cards, and best of all, make no mortgage payments for 2 months. Lock in this incredible 4.875 rate and get your cash in as little as 14 days. Call 913-890-GOLD.
Golden Oak Landing, cured my blues.
5.81 APR, FHA, 15-year, 20% equity, qualified credit. Additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Back to school is on the brain. That means new notebooks, pencils, new everything. And while the kids are getting ready to get book smart, it's time for you to save smart with Straight Talk Wireless. Switch now and get a free Moto G 2025 with 5G when you activate select plans. Now that's a smart call. Get Straight Talk covered by Verizon's 5G network. Available at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Offer valid through 10/19/25. Taxes and fees apply. Purchase of gold unlimited plan or higher required for offer. Must activate the plan in-store at Walmart. Cannot be combined with other offers.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
All right, Takis fans. Wendy's knows you love your Takis Fuego chips, so we thought, why not make a Takis Fuego meal with a Takis Fuego chicken sandwich with spicy chicken topped with crushed Takis Fuego chips and creamy corn spread. Plus, it comes with Fuego fries inspired by Takis and a bag of Takis Fuego chips. If we had any more heat, we might start an actual... I told him this would happen. For an intense new take on Takis chips, gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's. Includes 1-ounce Takis Fuego chips while supplies last. Takis and Fuego trademarks are used under license.
We know there's a lot that can go on during one night of baseball. Long home runs, epic pitching performances, catches that defy space, time, and gravity.
Climbing the wall! Did he catch it? He did!
But what if you could get all of that summarized in a quick, concise, and at least we think, funny podcast that's under 10 minutes? Check out MLB.com's morning lineup. It runs Monday through Friday mornings on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you love listening most.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. This is your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
Listen to the horns play!
All right, let's go over this from a Brett Veach perspective, because I remember when the Chiefs were putting together these great draft classes, and we were all kind of patting the Chiefs on the back as they deserved to, and this was the foundation of the Chiefs continuing their dynasty. And I remember having plenty of conversations of, hey, well, what does this look like when you have to start paying players? This is a question that a lot of teams have to answer. The Eagles are answering this question. Well, you drafted Devontae Smith, you drafted Jordan Mailata, you drafted Lane Johnson, and some of these other players. What does it look like when you have to start paying those players? We got the answer. The Eagles won their Super Bowl. The Chiefs are now entering this phase of team building. There's going to be different forms of it. We saw the Patriots dynasty. It wasn't the same dynasty for 20 years. It took on very different forms. They did it with Randy Moss. They did it without Randy Moss. One had Julian Edelman. One had Danny Amendola. They've done it a bunch of different ways. That's how the Chiefs will also have to do it if you think Mahomes goes to 7, 8, 9 of these things eventually throughout the course of his career. I would say that the run for Brett Veach starts in 2021. I mean, you drafted some good players in 2020. Don't get me wrong. Willie Gay Jr.'s turned out to be a good linebacker in the league. L'Jarius Sneed turned out to be a very productive pro. Mike Dana's still on this team, but I think that's when you can say in 2021 is when his great draft classes started. In 2021, the Chiefs had 6 draft picks. Nick Bolton, Creed Humphrey, Joshua Kane-Doe, Noah Gray, Cornell Powell, and Trey Smith. Rob, you're really big on ability to get to your second contract. I always say, well, the goal of every player is not to get to their second deal. Sometimes the best value you can get with the player is in your first contract. You got an all-pro on a 4-year, $9 million deal, and then you move on and you potentially let somebody else pay. Well, we have our answer, at least for, I would say, when the Brett Veach run starts. The 2021 draft, their first pick was Nick Bolton. They have signed him to a long-term extension. Their second pick was Creed Humphrey. They've signed him to a long-term extension. Joshua Kane-Doe never materialized in the league. You're going to miss on picks sometimes. Noah Gray, their 5th-round selection, on his 2nd contract with the Chiefs. Cornell Powell, another player who just never came together. Trey Smith just signed his 2nd contract. They made 6 selections in the 2021 draft. 4 of them are on 2nd contracts. 3 of them are on big 2nd contracts with the Chiefs. Bolton, Humphrey, Trey Smith, and Noah Gray got good money, but he's a 2nd tight end in the league. You're not breaking the bank to pay that guy. So, Rob, if we're looking at it through the draft, they had 6 selections. 4 of them are on 2nd contracts. 3 of them are on big money 2nd contracts. You now go to 2022. They had a lot of picks in this draft class. They hit on a lot of picks in this class. Trent McDuffie and George Karlaftis were your 1st-round picks. That was the Tyreek Hill year. George Karlaftis already on a 2nd deal. We're going to start having the conversation very soon about Trent McDuffie and what do you want to do. Sky Moore, 2nd-round pick. You missed. Brian Cook, been a good player. Leo Chenal, been a good player. Joshua Williams, rotational piece. Darian Kennard, don't know where he is right now. Jalen Watson, been a good player for you as a 7th-round pick. Same as Isaiah Pacheco, same as Najee Johnson. So this is you always say the bill comes due. It's one of your sayings. I mean, I'm not saying the bills come due in a negative sense. I'm just simply saying the Chiefs have benefited by having great players on rookie contracts for the last handful of seasons starting in 2021. They are now at the point that a lot of those rookies and young contracts that helped you win championships, now it's their turn to get paid. And we are seeing that the Chiefs are opting in and paying all of these guys. Over the last 3 draft class, the only player they've said no to paying is L'Jarius Sneed. They've paid every other player that you wanted to pay. You wanted to keep Mike Dana, they kept him. Bolton, Humphrey, Noah Gray, Trey Smith. Basically, other than L'Jarius Sneed, every player that they had during this time frame that's eligible for a 2nd contract, they have signed to a 2nd deal. Rob, this is what you want to see with draft classes. You're really big on this. This seems like your ideal if you're the Chiefs general manager.
Me and Brett Veach, we've had our disagreements in the past. He signed a linebacker. That would have never happened under my regime. But you know what? He's doing what I would do finally. Because I'm not saying that it's just some earth-shattering take. But do you know why I am team draft well, sign your own picks? Every contract in free agency is an overpay. That's what free agency is. When you sign a free agent, you are inherently overpaying because you are bidding against everyone else. See Jawan Taylor, see Anthony Hitchens, see Sammy Watkins. You end up overpaying for the premium free agents. Do you know how you avoid overpaying for premium free agents? You draft those players and you lock them up and keep them in-house. So now those free agency dollars, which are going to be smaller, can be used on smaller type signings. You're not making the splash, big, sexy move. You're being smart and prudent, and you're being, very, very, very aggressive, but in very niche areas. That's how I would team build. And I'm thinking as we come up on 2021 guys getting re-signed and 2022 guys coming up, I think you're going to see Trent McDuffie get re-signed. Maybe they walk on Jalen Watson. Maybe they trade Jalen Watson. I don't know. But you're starting to see, hey, lock up your pillars, lock up your core, lock up your foundation of the premium players you drafted, and then fill the gaps in free agency. And if you're filling the gaps with, lesser positional value spots, it's cheaper and you're not overpaying to the same level. That's why I'm excited about this move. It's not that I'm a huge George Karlaftis fan or I think he's the best edge rusher in the NFL. It's the fact that they locked up a premium position for cheap, so they're now not chasing that deal with free agency dollars, and free agency dollars at a premium position almost never work out, and you have avoided that with this deal. And you have a chance to avoid it again by getting McDuffie locked up either later this offseason or early next offseason.
Yeah, I'm looking at this contract. I'm looking at these deals, and I've heard people say this a lot, and I definitely get why people say it. I'm sure I've said it. Well, Brett Veach, fill in the blank. Like, we think we have enough data to kind of presume how Veach is going to move. Well, we know Veach doesn't draft corners, or we know Veach doesn't pay for this position. Like, we say this about certain things. I don't know if we can say that. I feel like we use the one example with Sneed that we can acknowledge is a very unique situation. And also, he's the one player in this group that has an injury history. None of these other players, Rob, that we have discussed about getting paid has an injury history. That's not what Mike Dana was, not Bolton, not Creed Humphrey, not Noah Gray, not Trey Smith, not George Karlaftis. Like, if you've been a healthy, productive player for them, which is obviously a lot of guys given the success that they've had, they've shown you when it's your time, you get paid. We haven't really seen them walk away from a player like this. Now, they might not get a deal done as quickly as they got one done with George Karlaftis. I mean, they franchise tagged Trey Smith, so they let him finish his 4 years. They then tagged him and then negotiated a contract. But they avoided free agency with Nick Bolton. They paid Creed Humphrey early on. They paid Noah Gray early on. They just paid George Karlaftis with 2 years left on a rookie deal. The Chiefs, I would say, have been very aggressive in keeping their young players. If they feel like you are essential to their success and you're somewhere between the ages of 24 and 26 years old, the Chiefs just haven't really shown a fear in not wanting to get a deal done with you. So we can transition this to Trent McDuffie because I think that's a very valuable part of this conversation. They got 2 first-round picks from that draft class. They got one of the better corners in the league and a young emerging pass rusher. I don't know if we have any reason to believe that they're just going to walk away from Trent McDuffie. They haven't really walked away from a player like this, not since Veach started handing out deals to his guys. Not talking about guys that John Dorsey drafted. I mean, his guys that he drafted, he founded, he culpted, and he developed. We haven't really seen too many examples of him walking away from those kind of players.
I'd have to look this up, and it may be my mistake for not having done before, but when was the last time Brett Veach just ejected on a top 3-round pick that was successful? Because, like, okay, yeah, he gave up on Breland Speaks. Breland Speaks stunk. He's going to give up on Sky Moore. Sky Moore stinks. He gave up on Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He didn't give an extension to Willie Gay. But the guys that you have seen the Chiefs pick in the top 3 rounds, the premium rounds, when was the last time they just said, we're out? L'Jarius Sneed was a 4th-round pick, so anything you got was found money, and they turned it into a future third. Creed Humphrey locked up. Nick Bolton locked up. Karlaftis now locked up. We think they might get Brian Cook done. We think they'll get Trent McDuffie done. Like, outside of, the big misses, when was the last time Brett Veach saw a premium draft pick of his and just said, I'm out? Is the answer Willie Gay? Because I think he has shown you, which it's a little bit disagreeing with your point, he has shown you a precedent. I keep my guys in-house. Maybe that will change with corner. I don't know. But I think he's already shown the precedent. My guys are the core of my team.
Yeah, and if you're telling me that Willie Gay Jr. is that player that you're discussing, and you're right, 2nd-round pick, they let walk in free agency. I would also argue Juan Thornhill kind of fits in that category. 2nd-round pick, they let walk. To me, those are the guys that you don't pay. Those are the guys that you have to continue to find in the draft. You can't give everybody a second contract. That's just not the way that the league works. Some guys you're going to have to let hit free agency. A guy like Colin Saunders, you're happy when he gets paid somewhere else. It's certainly no hard feelings. It's just business. We have to draft and find your position because that's how you keep a healthy salary cap. So if you're telling me the guys like his guys that he's walked on have been a corner with noted knee issues. Like, that is hard to ignore when we're talking about L'Jarius Sneed. Very serious knee issues that the Chiefs knew this and wanted to go ahead and sell before it got too late. They got everything they could out of that rookie contract. They franchise tagged him. They knew he had knee issues, and then they got out while they still could. And then if you're telling me that the other 2 answers are Willie Gay Jr. and Juan Thornhill, I don't want to say rotational players, but I would say low-end starters. These are not elite players. These are not game-changing players, but you got to start 22 guys, and they're one of your starters, and you're fine with them being your starters. You're not going to be A+ at every single position. You certainly can live with that. I mean, Willie Gay Jr. left the Chiefs and got a 1-year, $3 million deal. So that was just a rotational piece. Well, hey, we're going to draft that player, and instead of getting you for a 1-year, $3 million deal, we're going to get your replacement on a 4-year, $6 million deal. That's a contract you got to take if you're the Chiefs, and you're committed to paying the foundational and core guys on your roster.
I agree, and I think as we enter the next phase of Chiefs football, to your point earlier, I think the next phase, players like Gay and Thornhill, I think those are the types that will be late round picks positionally, or they'll go sign someone. Like they brought back Mike Edwards. Mike Edwards and Juan Thornhill are kind of the same. Like, you can find that guy in free agency for $3 million every year. They basically found a Willie Gay replacement in the 3rd or 4th round in Leo Chenal. Like, they found that replacement in Drew Tranquil. Like, they can find those type of, under-the-radar cheap moves in free agency. I think Brett Veach is going to start paying the premium positions. I'm going to always be frustrated with how he handled right guard last year and last offseason, but time to turn the page. Now the next draft class, which has multiple players at premium positions, he's 1 for 1. So now you may have to make a decision. Hey, do we walk on a Wanye Morris type? And I know that's next year's class, but if you walk on that type, you got to find another swing tackle. Such is life. Lock up the premium positions, and I think Brett Veach is starting to show I will do that. Or at least maybe whatever his positional value chart is, I will lock up those guys. And that's the $1 million question. Does he have corner on his positional value chart the same way me and you do? Me and you don't have right guard on our chart the same way he does, but he and I just disagree on that. I'm curious the next step will be, does he view corner that way? Because I think he has shown the positions he values, he pays.
Coming up in about 15 minutes, we're going to be joined by Sherron Collins. Later today in TBT, the basketball tournament, the K-State alums are playing the KU alums in a basketball game. Rob told me that he's not sure who he's rooting for. He said that he was a big Jacob Pullen fan, loved the way that he played, and just wants to see two teams go out there and play hard today. Rob, Billy Preston is playing in this. Is he a Jayhawk? Like, I'm a little confused. Like, are you for Billy Preston? Because everything about Billy Preston says that he's a Jayhawk, but anytime we discuss Billy Preston, you always kind of treat him like it never happened. Which one is? It can't be both. Either he's a Jayhawk or he's not a Jayhawk.
He's more than welcome to play on the TBT Jayhawk team, but he never played a minute of actual basketball on the Kansas Jayhawks. How is he a Jayhawk?
I saw him play basketball one time for the Jayhawks.
That game didn't count. No, it didn't happen. It was, you know what else happened in that game? Jeremiah Tillman had 6 fouls. That's not college basketball. That's
6.
some other.
He had like 9. 6 is a low number.
That
man was out there. He was hacking. Goodness gracious. I'm like, man, just stay on your feet. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. That's not, that 6 is not an accurate number. We're here to give real news, not fake news. Sherron Collins is going to be on the show coming up in just a little bit. So we have an update for this story. We did talk about this story right before I was gone. I am now back, and we have a development. You guys saw what happened last week. That CEO, that man was out here. He was out here living life wrong.
Yeah. Oh, look at these two. All right, come on. You're okay? Oh, what? Either they're having an affair or they're just very shy.
I mean, that's what he was doing. I mean, it was kind of obvious from the video. You know what I mean? Like, it was kind of obvious from the video that, hey, something was amiss here. The woman, she turned, she puts her hand over her face in shame. The man, like, he then tried to, like, duck under the table. And I'm like, we see you. Like, why are you doing it? They was really snuggled up without a care in the world. I mean, Clocks just had him feeling some kind of way, and I get it. I like that song, too. What's that one song, Viva La Vida? What an amazing song. They were just having a great time. Well, I'm not going to make it seem like I told you so. Like, I don't really think I took some big stance here, but the CEO from that video, he gone. Quote, Andy Byron has tenured his resignation. The board of directors has accepted. I'm sure they did. I don't think he just voluntarily offered this up. I think they told him, hey, you got to go, bro. Quote, the board will begin a search for our new CEO and chief product officer, Pete DeJoy. He will continue as the interim CEO. Now, I mean, Pete, I make sure you got your life in order here because they looking. They're watching. You guys saw this video. This man married with kids, him and his woman, they out gallivanting. They're having a great time. You can't do that and be a CEO of a company and think that one of y'all losing your job, probably 2 of you. I mean, I don't think she gets to stay there either. But if the CEO is having an affair with the HR lady, the person that runs HR, and you get exposed and you embarrass everybody the way that they embarrassed everybody last week, everybody can keep their job. That's not how this works. This is not how this works. You're the man in charge. It's not just that you were having an affair. It was the who you were having it with. I'm not saying that having an affair is right, but I'm saying is you can't multiply it by you're now having this affair with the HR lady. I mean, come on, brother. I mean, You committed an HR violation right there at Gillette Stadium. You can't do that. You cannot do that and think that you are going to keep your job. I'm sure it was a great job. Anytime you put CEO and you Astronomer, I don't even know what that company is, but I know what Astronomer and CEO, that man was making a lot of money. You can't be out here living willy-nilly, all hugged up with the side at this concert. You weren't even like in the back. You look like you didn't have a care in the world. Nice embrace, and then just in a second, boom, in a flash, life ruined. Wife, now she mad at you. You ain't seen your kids in a week. It's bad. It's bad news out here, Rob. You got to stay woke. And obviously, he didn't have his head on a swivel, not at all.
I mean, I would disagree on the blink of an eye's life ruined. I think he made his own decision on ruining his own life. Maybe don't date your coworker on the side. Like, it's
not
really,
just your
really ain't that
coworker,
hard.
the HR lady. That's what this. That's a portion of this story that cannot go undersold. You are committing an HR violation with the person whose job it is to report the HR violations. You can't. Come on now. You can't be doing this.
Cuddled up on a work event.
They were rocking and swaying to the music.
Goodness. Like, I know that earlier today, Drew got all mad at Cody and Gold. They're making fun of the situation. This guy deserves what he got. If you are cheating on your wife with a coworker, and at the coworker's event, you're very publicly cuddled up and you get caught, I'm sorry, I don't feel bad that you lost your job. I'm not going to feel bad when he loses half his money, because that's going to go away pretty soon too.
No. I read he was worth a B. Not a few M's.
Not anymore.
I saw he was worth a B. He was worth a B. That's why you feel like you can move like that. When you're worth $1 billion, you gotta feel like the rules don't apply to you. You gotta feel like that. I was listening to a podcast earlier and they were talking about this. Would you feel differently if he had kind of stood on it in the moment? Like, he had immediate shame. It wasn't even like, I mean, you know that term like fight or flight? He immediately went to flight. Like, there wasn't a single, like, he didn't wave at the camera. It was, they put the camera on us. We're not even going to together play this cool. Maybe this isn't even a story if you just handle it a lot better. Now, maybe, I mean, it's the internet. Somebody's got their cell phone out. They then post a video or whatever. But if they just stand there and sway, you don't get the comment from the band that obviously blows this thing up. The video doesn't go viral if it's just two people staring there. Like, it's the awkwardness of everything that obviously propelled this story to where it is. And then you start to get more of the backstory. And yeah, you can't embarrass your company publicly the way that he did, as you're the one in charge, and think that you're going to continue to be in charge. No, they wrote you a severance. They told you good day. You get nothing. You lose. That's what they told you.
I am 1,000% not condoning cheating, but I think you're correct. If they don't freak out, this doesn't become a viral moment. If it doesn't become a viral moment, me and you for sure aren't talking about it, and maybe he's able to still get away with his disgusting behavior on the sly. But the fact that she went beet red and he dropped like sniper, Barry Henson style, and just dropped.
He did.
Made Coldplay. Chris Martin was like, yo,
something's going on.
Something's going on. Which made everyone else make a point of it. And that's when it got, if he had just like waved and smiled, I don't think Chris Martin says anything. I don't think he'll take the video of it. It's just two people.
Yeah, no, nothing. Nothing happens if they act normal in that video. The beautiful thing about that video is there are 4 people in the video that all just have very different reactions. The man, he gets down on the floor like he just heard a car backfire in a bad neighborhood. She turns red and then holds her face. Her homegirl clearly knows they're not supposed to be there, so she looks all embarrassed by it. And then there's a guy behind the couple that is just simply happy to be on the Jumbotron. It's cool to see yourself up there. You wave and, oh, hey, you get to do all that. Just 4 people who had very different observations to this video. It is one of those things like, every time I see it, I don't know. That video, that's the 2025 What Color Is the Dress? Just like a video that will live in internet history. Like, if there was a viral internet hall of fame, not all viral moments are the same. Some are fleeting. Some are just only things that go viral on the internet and they never cross over into real life pop culture. This has crossed over into real life pop culture, had real effects. Now, my man, can you imagine this? You cheating and you don't have a job? Oh, my goodness. His wife is giving him hell, absolute hell. Coming up on the other side, we'll be joined by Sherron Collins. The KU alums are playing the K-State alums tonight at 8 o'clock at Municipal. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison, your home for the best food takes in KC.
Regular old American nachos. You know, I don't need jalapenos with mine, just chips, cheese.
Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. 96.5 The Fan.
Men, the summer is here. Longer days, warmer nights, and romance in the air. Intimate dinners, walks on the beach, dancing in the moonlight. But if you have erectile dysfunction, you know it can ruin romance, both for you and the one you love. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health. And if you have ED, don't let another summer go by without getting treated. Because intimacy is one of the greatest things in life, and fear of not being able to perform should not be something you have to deal with. At Heartland Men's Health, we're ED experts. We've successfully treated tens of thousands of men. Our protocols work when others don't, and we have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases. You could even last up to an hour or more and perform like you haven't in years. So call us. Your initial appointment is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600. Or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
Hi there, I'm Charlie.
And I'm Carter. Our dad is Rex with Rex Buys KC.
If you're thinking about selling a home in Kansas City and don't know where to start, our dad can help.
Sometimes life throws curveballs, like moving for a new job, dealing with a divorce, or inheriting a house you weren't expecting.
Dad doesn't just make offers, he talks with people to help them understand all of their options. No pressure, and it doesn't cost anything to talk with his team.
He's a local home buyer who really knows Kansas City. If selling to him is the right choice, he'll give you a fair cash offer, and you can close on your timeline even in as little as 7 days.
He buys homes in any condition. No need for repairs, no fees, no surprises.
Just an honest, easy process so you feel good about your decision.
Want to talk to him? Call 816-330-6000 or go to rexbuyskc.com. Rex Buys KC, helping people make smart choices one home at a time.
This summer, Casey's has 89-cent fountain and frozen drinks. But if you don't have 89 cents, you could check your center console, or dig between your couch cushions, or ask Grandma for $1, or just use your credit card. We take those too. 89-cent frozen and fountain drinks at Casey's, all summer long. Restrictions may apply. See store for details.
It's funny how one little light can stall out your entire day. I was already running behind, and now this, the check engine light. So I reached out to my go-to problem solver. Dad, check engine light. What do? He didn't miss a beat. Take it to Telly, he said. So I did. When I got there, they didn't just fix my car. They fixed my day. They were quick, clear, and took care of everything. Next time my car glitches out, I'm heading for Telly. Don't let that little light be game over. Take it to Telly.
Call Aspen Lawn and Pest Control. Our iconic blue trucks and expert team get it right the first time. Award-winning full-service lawn care and pest control since 1985. Call today for a free estimate. Visit aspenlawn.com.
Allstate knows your home means everything to you, and you'll do anything to protect it. But not just with any protection. You want insurance that'll be there for you and your family when you need it most. And that's what Allstate's been doing for over 60 years. So check Allstate first for home insurance you can rely on. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary. Coverage subject to terms, qualifications, and availability. Allstate Vehicle and Property Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Hey, that's the spirit. Right now, we're celebrating free with a free STP oil filter when you buy 5 quarts of oil and free Duralast brake pads when you buy 2 rotors. Like always, free battery testing, charging, and recycling at every store. Celebrate free at AutoZone, now through July 28th.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Doug. Here we have the Limu Emu in its natural habitat, helping people customize their car insurance and save hundreds with Liberty Mutual. Fascinating. It's accompanied by his natural ally, Doug.
Limu, is that guy with the binoculars watching us?
Cut the camera. They see us.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Savings vary. Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Excludes Massachusetts.
This afternoon, showers, thunderstorms likely, slight chance of later, high 94.
Weather brought to you by Staples. Have you heard? The Staples Easy button is back with even more easy. Press it for custom prints, shipping services, even passport photos. Staples. That was easy.
You're listening to The Drive with Carrington Harrison on 96.5 The Fan and the Odyssey app.
Welcome back into the show. Coming up later tonight, the Kansas alums are playing the K-State alums. You can catch that game coming up at 8 o'clock. It will be at Municipal Auditorium. They are playing in the basketball tournament. We are very happy right now to be joined by the coach of the KU team. And he is also one of the greatest players to ever play at KU. We welcome Sherron Collins onto the show today. Sherron, happy to have you join us today.
Man, thank you. Happy to be here.
Absolutely. So let's start with this. Your regular day-to-day job is you're the head coach at Oak Park. How did you become the head coach of this team?
Just talking. I wanted to get involved. Obviously, I don't play no more, so I wanted to get involved. They asked me to coach it. The self-made team when it was self-made, and I was still coaching AAU, so I didn't want to leave my AAU team. But after that, this was intrigued, and I thought this was a great thing, and it's a great tournament, so I want to be a part of it.
You obviously are very important in the history of Kansas basketball. How cool is it to get so many of your former teammates and so many former Jayhawks together?
It's really cool. I get to coach guys and talk to guys and pick guys' brain that I never played with. And then these guys get to play with each other, the older guys. And I think, going through the program, you always see a guy or two you want to play with or, want to be able. And I was able to coach Frank last year, and I'm able to coach some more guys this year. So it's just a learning experience for me, and it's a great thing for our university and the brotherhood.
Sherron, when you think back to your career, how much of that do you think has helped you now as you transition to a coach? It's obviously a different experience, it's a different high, a different joy. How has that playing experience now helped you as you transition to now being a coach?
It helped me a lot. I had to have a great deal of patience in basketball, and I think that's carried over to the coaching part because I know that as players, we used to always think our coaches was like, oh, they tripping, they wrong. Now I see that they were right. And I'm the one now because I'm the one going through it with my players.
Right now, we're happy to be joined by Sherron Collins. He is the head coach at Oak Park High School. He also is the head coach for Mass Street. They're the Kansas alumni group, and they are going up against K-State later today in the basketball tournament. Sherron, when you think of the rivalry that you guys had against K-State, is there a certain game of memory that comes to your mind?
Yeah, the game there my senior year. So I hired Wally. Wally Judge coached with me for a year at Oak Park, not this year, but last year. And I always gave him smack because I hit that big basket over him and he fouled me. And so I think that was my best game I remember at K-State was when I hit that game-winning layup.
I've got a chance to talk to Marcus Denman about this and Jacob Pullen. I asked them, hey, who was the toughest guy that they had to go up against? They all said you. You were kind of that person of your era. What is it like to get that respect from the guys that you had so many on-the-court battles with?
That means a lot, man, because those guys are good players, man, and for them to say it was me, that's a lot of respect. And I respect those guys because they were great in their times and what they did at their respected universities. But, it's just a rival, man, and I think it meant a little bit more. It's K-State and the Mizzou. But it means a lot to me. That means I was doing something right, and Coach Self put me in the right position for sure.
Sherron, now when, so many guards come through Kansas, you're kind of that standard for them, for Frank Mason or Devontae Graham or whoever the next great point guard is. It's can you do what Sherron had done? When you first got to KU, was there a player you were chasing? Was it Kirk Heinrich? Who was kind of that guy that you were trying to chase?
It was Kirk for a little bit, but then when I got there, it just became Mario and Russell just because they were more experienced than me. So I wanted to, mirror take some of their game, especially defensively. Those two guys were so good defensively that I try to take everything they do defensively. I try to mark it. I try to copycat it because they were so good, and I used to pick their brains. So those two was the ones for me that helped me get to the next level, especially defensively.
When you think back to you and you're just, deciding where you want to go to school, if you go to Kansas, you got a chance to go to a lot of places. Did you ever imagine you would have the overall success that you did? From the first time you stepped in Allen to now when you go back, I mean, your name is in the rafters. Your name is up there, Paul Pierce and Wilt Chamberlain, some of the greatest players to ever play basketball. Did you ever envision that you were going to have that kind of success in college?
Nah, I couldn't have told you I would. I couldn't have told you I would ever envision that. I've got 2 kids in Kansas that's named after me. So you tell me this when I was a 17, 18-year-old kid that I'll be able to do the things I've done, and people will name their kid after me. I'll tell you a lie. I wouldn't believe you. I'll probably laugh in your face. But, I mean, it's just been a community that's been behind us. I was blessed to have a great team and great coaching staff who trusted in me and putting the ball in my hand to carry this university. So, you know, it's just not me. It's a lot to play into it, and I just got to, you know, I reap the benefits of it.
Whenever I ask, you know, KU fans to give me their, like, all-time KU starting 5, or maybe it's just like a Bill Self starting 5, you're a lot of people's point guard. I'll ask you. So, if you were creating your KU starting 5, you're going to go up against Kentucky or Duke. You're going to go up against their all-stars. What 5 are you putting together to go beat them?
Oh, man, this is hard. I mean, I'm putting myself at the point guard for sure.
Of course, for sure.
I'll take myself on it. I like to go big, so I'll take me at the 1. I'll put Brandon Rush at the 2. A lot of people, I love Josh Jackson, so I'll put Josh Jackson at the 3. I'll put the real Arthur at the 4. And I'll take Joel Embiid at the 5.
Right now, we're talking to Sherron Collins for just a couple more minutes here. I got a chance to see you coach at Oak Park. I probably saw a handful of games this year. How cool is it to now have one of your players going through one of the journeys that you went through, and Corbin Allen now going to KU?
It's super cool, man, and I'm here. We talk a lot through, you know, good times, bad times. I'm going to be here for them, but it's super cool to have someone follow in the footsteps and try to carry the tradition. And obviously, you know, he's following the Ochai footsteps because Ochai went to the same high school there in Kansas. So he chased Ochai. And
basketball tournament, that game is at 8 o'clock. It is at Municipal. You can either watch it on TV or head down to the arena and catch KU and K-State renewing their rivalry on the hardwood. Sherron, it was great to have you join us today, man. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. That is Sherron Collins joining us on the show today. Again, go stop by Municipal Auditorium if you want to see the K-State alums play the KU alums, or you can watch it at the basketball tournament. I'm sure this is on ESPN2 today. Is that what guess, Rob?
I think it might be ESPNU or ESPN Plus today.
I know you can watch it on television. I know that for a fact.
Oh, it's on real television today? I thought it was ESPN Plus only. Maybe it is ESPN2.
My bad, maybe. Because I was watching it yesterday. I watched the Louisville game yesterday for a little bit. Well, my bad. I don't want to give you guys any false information. I plan on going to the game, so I don't need to watch it on TV. Rob's going to need to watch the game on TV because Rob's not going. Rob's really fake KU. That's what I've learned. How could you not be at this game? You get a chance to see Jacob Pullen go up against Frank Mason. You're not going to go. You're not going to the game today? What else are you doing?
First off, Frank Mason's on the Syracuse team this year.
Oh, yeah, he did. He left you guys. Him and Thomas Robinson.
Yeah,
how could you do that?
See, here's the thing with the TBT. That $1 million to win, that's a big deal. So a lot of people will shed that alumni pride.
That's not real. That's not
money.
real. You can't run with your own guys. They literally have a team called Mass Street, and you're not going to roll with Mass Street. You're going to go roll with the Syracuse team. Nobody from Syracuse would do this. If they had a Kentucky team, they wouldn't do this.
I think they do have a Kentucky team. Wasn't that who Louisville played yesterday?
I don't know who they play. I mean, to be fair, all the dudes that will play on the Kentucky team are just in the league.
Yeah, it'd have to be like Josh Harrelson.
It'd be somebody you ain't heard of in forever. That'd be on the Kentucky team. What do you make of his starting 5? You know what? Hold this thought. I do want to talk about his starting 5. We asked Sherron what his KU starting 5 would be. He had himself, Brandon Rush, Josh Jackson, Darrell Arthur, and Joel Embiid. Rob, I'm going to ask you to make a starting 5 that does not compose any of these players, and we'll see if you put together a better starting 5 than Sherron Collins. We'll do that next. We'll also get back to the Chiefs. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison. Watch the show on YouTube by subscribing to the 965 YouTube channel. The Drive, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. 96.5, The Fan.
Hi, Zoe Saldana. Welcome to T-Mobile. Here's your new iPhone 16 Pro on us.
Thanks. And here's my old phone to trade in.
You don't need a trade-in. When you switch to T-Mobile, we'll give you a new iPhone 16 Pro. Plus, we'll help you pay off your old phone up to $800, and you still get to keep it.
There's always a trade-in.
Not right now at T-Mobile.
I feel like I have to give you something in return for karma.
That's okay.
I don't really have much in my purse. Oh, let's see. Hand sanitizer. It's lavender.
I'm good. Seriously.
Let me check this pocket. Oh, mints?
Really, I'm fine.
Oh, I have raisins. I'm a mom. Wait 1 sec. I've got cupcakes in the car.
It's our best iPhone offer ever. Switch to T-Mobile. Get a new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on us. No trade-in needed. We'll even pay off your phone up to $800.
With 24 monthly bill credits, new line $100 plus a month on Experience Beyond finance agreement $999.99 and qualifying ported. For well qualified plus tax and $10 connection charge. Payout via virtual prepaid card. Allow 15 days. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. See T-Mobile.com.
He buys cars on the air and takes 0 prisoners. The John Clay Wolf Show, now on 96.5 The Fan. Every Saturday, 9 a.m. to noon. And be sure to watch live at jcwshow.com or stream the chaos on YouTube.
Don't miss the 5th largest arms show in America. The 54th annual National Summer Arms Show is coming to the KCI Expo Center this weekend only. Buy, sell, and trade with freedom lovers from across the U.S. with no buyer's premium. Details online at nationalsummerarmsshow.com.
It's not too late to enjoy your summer with a new or improved deck. Go to PowellExteriorsKC.com to schedule a consultation today. Get your free estimate now, and you could be enjoying your new deck or patio in a matter of weeks. You are one click away from your best summer ever.
Hey folks, I've got a couple of important questions for you. Do you know how much money you need to retire? Do you have a plan in place for your loved ones? If your answer is no, it's time to get your financial planning on track with UMB Private Wealth. It's never too late to start. Plus, their team supports you at every step of the planning process. Go to umb.com/privatewealth to schedule your appointment. That's umb.com/privatewealth. Why not start today?
It's Cody and Gold again telling you about our friends over at Centric. And if you've been thinking about that new career path and how do I go about doing it? Can I get that new career in as little as 4 months? Well, the answer is yes, through Centric.
Take it from a recent graduate who said, I truly appreciate all the guidance and support from the entire career services team. From resume help to interview prep and everything in between, your efforts played a huge role in helping me land my first job in IT.
Talk to our friend Russ for more information about the program and get that new career in as little as 4 months at Centric.com.
Lowe's knows big savings make a big difference, especially when you're shopping for appliances. Hurry in to get up to 30% off select major appliances. Plus, My Lowe's Rewards members get free delivery, free haul away, free installation and parts on purchases of $2,500 or more. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 7/30. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Price, delivery time, and vehicle availability may vary based on order size and location. Exclusions apply. See Lowes.com/delivery for more details.
Famous Footwear has the latest styles from all my favorite brands like Nike, Adidas, Crocs, Converse, New Balance, Birkenstock, and more. And with over 830 stores, Famous Footwear is always nearby with fit experts to make sure my new shoes fit my feet and mom's budget. She says the prices are like really good, so you don't have to overspend to make it famous. Right now, buy one pair of shoes, get one half off at your local Famous Footwear store. Some exclusions apply.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
All right, Takis fans. Wendy's knows you love your Takis Fuego chips, so we thought, why not make a Takis Fuego meal with a Takis Fuego chicken sandwich with spicy chicken topped with crushed Takis Fuego chips and creamy corn spread. Plus, it comes with Fuego fries inspired by Takis and a bag of Takis Fuego chips. If we had any more heat, we might start an actual... I told him this would happen. For an intense new take on Takis chips, gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's. Includes 1 ounce Takis Fuego chips while supplies last. Takis and Fuego trademarks are used under license.
This report is brought to you by Surfside Iced Tea and Vodka and Surfside Lemonade and Vodka. Surfside Iced Tea and Vodka and Surfside Lemonade and Vodka. Proud partner of the Kansas City Royals. Each can of Surfside is only 100 calories, and the best part, 0 bubbles. Grab it at the Cave or ask for it at your favorite bars and liquor stores.
You're listening to the all-new 96.5 The Fan, your home for Kansas City sports. KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
All right, Rob. I'm going to give you the same qualifications as him because these are all Bill Self players. Like, people are throwing Wilt Chamberlain in their starting 5. Sherron picked all players that played for Bill Self. We're going to give you the same restrictions. We asked Sherron Collins to make his KU starting 5. This was his KU starting 5. Sherron Collins. Makes sense. He should probably be starting anyway. Brandon Rush at the 2. Very surprised to see him go Josh Jackson. I was very surprised. Is he still in the league?
I don't think so.
Is he playing on their little team?
He might be in the league. I honestly don't know.
It was looking real rough off the court for Josh Jackson for a while. So I don't know if he's in the league.
And that's just in Lawrence.
No, he had problems in the league too. He kept wilding.
It's true.
Sherron Collins, Brandon Rush, Josh Jackson, Darrell Arthur, who I don't actually think gets enough credit. I don't know. It's kind of weird to me. I don't think Darrell Arthur, or maybe not weird is the right term. Maybe you guys have just had so many good college players that you can't give love to all of them. But Darrell Arthur was really, really good when he was at KU. And Joel Embiid, those are his starting 5. Rob, I'm going to ask you to build a team. Your team cannot have any of these 5 individuals. They can't play on the court at the same time for 2 different teams. Give me your starting 5 of Bill Self guys to go up against Sherron Collins' team of Bill Self guys.
Now, I will say I have a large advantage here because, you put Sherron on the spot where I've had some time to think. We had a 5-minute commercial break. I chewed on this.
No, here you go. You have to cheat.
I have Frank Mason at the 1. I have Ochai Agbaji.
You know what? I'm gonna disqualify Frank Mason from this because he obviously doesn't want to be a Jayhawk anymore. He had a chance to be a Jayhawk. He now, you know what? He starts for the Syracuse all-time team. That's what it is. It's him, Hakeem Ward, Jerry McNamara, Rakeem Christmas, and Melo. That's their team. That's the Syracuse starting 5 now. Now that Frank Mason switched, he left your team, the Mass Street Boys, and now he's gone to play for Syracuse.
All right, I'll take Frank Mason out.
No, you can have him. I was just joking.
Frank Mason's my point guard. I'm going to have Ochai Agbaji at the I'm going to have Mario Chalmers at the 2.
Okay.
Then Ochai Agbaji at the 3.
Is this senior year Ochai, or are you taking like sophomore? Okay, I didn't know.
Senior year Ochai.
I know you were taking like sophomore, junior Ochai, because those are 2 different players.
This is senior year Ochai, a guy who was in consideration for Naismith Player of the Year.
He had a phenomenal last season.
I'm going to Sherron's team's big. My team's going to be small. I got Marcus Morris at the 4, and I got Thomas Robinson at the 5.
It's a strong team. I can't be mad at that team. I can't be mad at that team at all. Is your team favored, do you think? Like tomorrow, if they played a game, do you think your team's the favorite?
I think I have the advantage at every position except for center and point guard.
That's kind of crazy because some of these guys, like, you could go watch them play later tonight, but you're not going to be there.
I could see how many. I don't think I can see any of Sherron's coaching.
Brandon Rush is playing tonight. He's going to be there. Thomas Robinson's on this team.
I thought Thomas Robinson left this team.
Oh yeah, he's on Q's too. He's on Q's too. Oh my goodness.
I could see David McCormick and Cliff Alexander tonight.
David McCormick.
Actually, I watched a little bit of the game over the weekend. LeGerald Vick is very important to this team's success.
So you know what? You know who David McCormick is? David McCormick is KU's version of Daniel Sorensen. I remember how you guys used to talk about Daniel Sorensen back in the day. If it was up to the text line, Daniel Sorensen would have been cut from the Chiefs at least 9 different times. But you know who always made a play when needed for the Chiefs? When you needed a stop on 4th down, when you needed a forced fumble. Who was always around the football just making plays? Daniel Sorensen. Rob, I saw the way that y'all used to talk about David McCormick. Bad. Used to dog David McCormick. Now you walk into Allen, he got a big mural for that little hook shot that he hit. You guys switched up on David McCormick, but I'm not going to let you forget how you used to talk to him back in the day. He was you guys' version of Daniel Sorensen.
I mean, you could argue among KU fans, he was more unpopular at one point than Daniel Sorensen. The idea of Dave was a joke. Like he was called Dave as a joke. Like if you think KU fans last year turned on KJ Adams, boy, they turned way harder on Dave McCormick. And then he dunked on that Villanova player in the Final Four, and it was, hey, we love you. And then he hit the hook shot over Brady Manick, and now there were people after that game, like the coach of the team, arguing that he should be in the rafters. Just a wild pivot of his career.
Yeah. You guys love to do that. That's how y'all did my man DeJuan Harris. It was real bad how y'all did DeJuan Harris.
We did the opposite. We loved DeJuan, then we flipped on DeJuan.
Yeah, that's what you know what? You guys disliked Hunter Dickinson so much that you transferred that dislike to DeJuan Harris.
By the way, don't act like this is a KU-specific thing. I saw Mizzou fans with Brady Cook. It was, he sucks until it was go time. And it was that guy's a hero.
I've never done that before. You know, I never did that with Brady Cook. I've always been a Brady Cook supporter. I've always, since day one, I like Brady Cook. I feel like people were unfairly harsh on Brady Cook. So don't put that on me. Please don't put that evil on me because I didn't have anything to do with that.
I'm looking at you, Aaron Ladd. Aaron Ladd was first team all hate Brady Cook.
Okay, well, Aaron doesn't start watching Mizzou until week 9. He doesn't start watching until week 9. He watches the one big game against Oklahoma, and then Ladd's not a good person to use for this conversation.
He used to always volunteer to go work the home opener. Yeah. Okay, we see you, Ladd.
Yeah, that was the only game he would go to. He'd go to Coppin State, and he wouldn't go anymore. Don't let Ladd fool you on who you used to cheer for. If you missed it, we had Sherron Collins on the show earlier. This is who we picked for his KU starting 5. These can only be players that played under Bill Self.
I mean, I'm putting myself at the point guard for sure.
Of course, for sure.
I'll take myself on it. I like to go big, so I'll take me at the 1. I'll put Brandon Rush at the 2. A lot of people, I love Josh Jackson, so I'll put Josh Jackson at the 3. I'll put the real Arthur at the 4. And I'll take Joel Embiid at the 5.
You know what? Since we don't have a lot of time left in this segment, Rob, let me just get my little bit of basketball thought out, and then we'll move back to the Chiefs, and we'll get back to talking about George Karlaftis or Trent McDuffie. You can pick. You know what I love? I love when free agents just follow their heart and do what's real. How many times has a player been a free agent and they really made you think, you know what, man, it's not about the money. I just want to win a championship. And then you end up signing a free agent deal with the Carolina Panthers. What? Hold on, you can't do both. You know, man, I just want to play with the good. Remember when DeAndre Hopkins did that? Man, I want to play with a team who's got an established quarterback, and I want a chance to win a ring. My brother, you went to go play for the Tennessee Titans. That was not your number one priority. I love when athletes are just real. I wish that we created an environment in which athletes could just tell us the truth. Hey, I want to go to the team that pays me the most. I don't care what team it is, but whatever team offers me the most money, that's the team that I want to go play for. I would love if an athlete would come out and say that, but whenever they say, I got to do what's best for me and my family, oh, you about to get finessed in free agency. 100%, every single time. I appreciate that we have seen 2 NBA players make a move solely based off what they feel is best and a little bit self-centered. Damian Lillard could have went to a contending team. He really could have, even with the Achilles injury. When Damian Lillard was back, if he wanted to go play for the Celtics or the Lakers or the Knicks or whatever team to come off the bench and knock down threes on a veteran deal, could have done it. I want to play for Portland. I want to finish out my career where I started. I had a great life here. My family is from here. My kids were born here. And I also want the Kobe farewell tour. We know the tour that I'm talking about. You get that last season of home games. Everybody shows up to see you. Everybody shows you a lot of love. Must be great to get that. And Chris Paul. Chris Paul's going back to play for the Clippers. He has 1 season left in the league. When you think of Chris Paul, you think of the Clippers. Hey, I know they got a point guard. They got a couple of point guards. Hey, I'm just happy to come back, come off the bench, do what I'm supposed to do, and finish out my last season with where people identify me with a Los Angeles Clipper. I appreciate that. I want more honesty in free agency moves. That's what I want. I just want more honesty. You went to that team because they offered you the most money. You didn't go to that team for any other reason. Chris Paul is back with the Clippers because he wants a nice farewell tour. This Clippers team actually would be really good if this was 2014. If you could go back in time and find a time machine, the Clippers, they might be better than the 98 Bulls if there was a time machine. They got Chris Paul on the team and James Harden and Kawhi Leonard and Bradley Beal and Ben Simmons. They got a squad over there. I'm telling you, if this was NBA 2K14, everybody would be playing with the Los Angeles Clippers. Good luck to them. I'm sure. You know what I see for the Clippers? I see a nice 6th overall in the Western Conference and a nice first-round loss to the Minnesota Timberwolves. They have that in their future, and it's going to be a lot of fun to see how that plays itself out. Coming up on the other side, let's get back to the Kansas City Chiefs. We saw George Karlaftis get the bag this weekend. Keep it right here, so drive.
You're listening to The Drive with Carrington Harrison, host of the Random Royals lineup on 96.5 The Fan.
Baseball with the Royals.
Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
At CertaPro Painters, we know that a happy place comes in many colors, like ones that inspire a sense of wonder, or a new flavor that makes life just a little bit sweeter, or one to celebrate those moments that lift you to new heights. We can reawaken any space to make your happy place your home. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
Don't let clogged drains slow you down. Call Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter today for our $79 mainline drain cleaning special. The pros at Hamilton will inspect your drains with video camera technology to pinpoint exactly what is needed to clear those clogs and help prevent expensive drain repairs. The expert technicians at Hamilton are ready 7 days a week to solve your problem the right way the first time. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 5-star reviews ensures your peace of mind. Visit callhamilton.com for details, terms, and conditions. License number 2025-11121.
Hi, I'm Mitch Holtis, voice of the Chiefs. Be a part of history by attending Chiefs training camp in St. Joseph, Missouri this summer. See the Chiefs and make a St. Joe memory. Whether it's touring one of the many museums, staying in a historic home turned bed and breakfast, experiencing quality dining and brewery options, hitting the River Bluff bike trails, or supporting a vibrant art scene, St. Joseph has something for everyone. Go to stjomo.com to view or download a free visitor guide and plan your trip. Produced in cooperation with Visit Missouri.
It's the summer sales event at Robside Ford. Your chance to upgrade without the stress. Robside joins me now. Rob, what's the offer?
0% financing, $0 down, and 0 payments for 90 days on nearly the entire Ford lineup.
That's a serious summer deal.
Sure is. And unlike your brisket last weekend, these deals aren't dry.
Okay, that's fair. These savings are definitely juicy.
And we're backing it up with 2 years of complimentary maintenance, a non-commissioned sales team, and top trade-in values.
No pressure. No gimmicks at Robside Ford. The way car buying should be.
We're Kansas City's top-rated Ford dealer. 4.8 stars, nearly 3,000 Google reviews, and a better experience from start to finish.
So skip the smoke and the dry meat. This summer, start at Robside Ford.
135th and State Line or robsighc.com. 0% financing, $0 down, 0 payments for 90 days, and 2 years of complimentary maintenance.
Robside Ford. Buy right. Drive happy. And next time, maybe stick to potato salad.
Ahoy, mateys. Set your course for Harris, Kansas City on Saturday, July 26th, where over $100,000 in prizes are waiting at our treasure chest drawing. One lucky winner will take home $50,000 in cold, hard cash. And every 15 minutes, you could snatch up to $2,500 in free play. Plus, earn 5-time extra entries every Saturday night through July 26th to boost your odds of striking gold. It's the summer's hottest treasure hunt, only at Harris, Kansas City. Yo-ho-ho!
21 or older to gamble. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Oh, no. Ah, that's the sound of someone who's misplaced...
My debit card.
Their debit card.
Where'd I leave that thing?
Not at the gas pump, or the checkout counter, or the roof of your car. Now, if he has the Chase mobile app, he can use Card Lock.
Wait, I could just lock my card.
Yep, just a few tippy taps on his phone, and... that sound? That's peace of mind from Chase.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. member FDIC.
If Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea was your best friend, it would be the kind of friend that starts an impromptu dance party in the supermarket aisle that turns into an all-day pool party rager at your place, and you don't even own a pool. Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea turns any day into a legendary adventure. It's smooth and refreshing real iced tea with just the right kick of alcohol. Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Keep it twisted.
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments including pills, chews, and more. 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, HIMS.com/JOY.
Circa Millions and Circa Survivor are back with millions in guaranteed prizes. Details at circasports.com.
Circa Millions and Circa Survivor are back with a massive $21 million in guaranteed prizes. Enter in Nevada, play from anywhere. $21 million guaranteed. Visit circasports.com for details.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
This one brought to you by Circa Resort and Casino. 2 problems on 70. You've got westbound at Lee Summit, the right lane is blocked, and then 70 westbound at Blue Ridge, right lane blocked there as well. From the Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric Traffic Center, I'm Val, 96.5, The Fan.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. Follow the station on Instagram at TheFan965 for giveaways and behind-the-scenes content.
All right, you know that we're about fair and balanced on this show. If we give KU time, we have to give K-State equal time today. They are playing each other in a basketball game. It's going to be a fun little alumni little activity. It's called the basketball tournament. So basically how this works is any player that is not currently in the NBA is eligible to play in this tournament. You actually can't be an NBA player and play in a tournament that's for money, but that's a rule that they have. So as long as you're not in the NBA, you can participate. So like a lot of former NBA players are in this tournament. And the winning team, they split $1 million. KU has put a team together. They're trying to go get the $1 million. K-State has put a team together. They're also trying to go get the $1 million. They play each other coming up later today. It's a single elimination tournament. It's at Municipal. It's going to be a lot of fun. I will be there. Rob will be watching it on television, and we will report back tomorrow to let you know how it goes. Rob, I do have a really, really quick thought, and then I do want to get back to George Karlaftis. I know this is a topic that probably only me and you care about, so that's fine. We won't spend a whole lot of time doing it. You and I have talked about the great work that I think Pablo Torre is doing. Pablo Torre single-handedly shook up the leadership in the NFL Players Association. There's no other way to look at it than that. Maybe it's not even a story that you, a fan, cares about, and I get that. But if it wasn't for the reporting of Pablo Torre, they continue to have leadership who pretty clearly don't seem to have their best interests at heart. I was reading an article this weekend from The Athletic, and it really summarized things in a way that I hadn't thought about before. Of all the athletes that we discussed that need the most protecting, it's football players because of the nature of their game. Your life expectancy is not shortened by you playing basketball or by playing baseball. It's not really how those sports work. It is when you play football and the physical toll that you have to go through to play it. So the people that are in leadership need to have the players' best interests at heart and need to be a bulldog to stand up for the owners, that if it was up to the owners, there would be no NFL offseason. They would just keep playing football and playing football and playing football, but they have to put certain rules in so the owners can't continue to take advantage of them in that way. So I think Pablo Torre gets a lot of credit for what he's been able to do. And I would say he single-handedly caused this shift in leadership in the NFL Players Association. I do think that this part is important, and it's something that I think anybody can understand and relate to. This is not my fight. This is also not your fight, the fan. This has to be the players' fight. And if the players are not interested, at least publicly, in fighting for it, then I don't really know what they expect us to do. You might disagree with what the WNBA is doing and how they're going about it, but the WNBA players all seem to have a very public stance. The revenue split that we have is not fair, and we want a more fair revenue, and we are going to let it be known this is our platform, this is what we are doing to make that happen. In the last 30 days, we have basically found out that the NFL Players Association representatives have been working behind the players' back to either A, keep money out of their pocket or do all kind of weird things when it comes to their contract. They had a conference call. So basically, every team in the NFL has one player rep. So the Chiefs have one, the Broncos have one. You get the point. I was reading an article about it, and they said half of the meeting was updating the 32 player reps on what's going on. So if you guys aren't up to date with what's going on, and you guys aren't willing to fight and be outspoken about it, then why do you think that we should care about it or why fans are going to have any sympathy for you? I'm not saying he needs to do this, but you know whose voice would be really important on this? Patrick Mahomes. You know who would be getting a guaranteed contract if they were available? Patrick Mahomes. If you're not going to be super outspoken about the fact that the owners colluded against you to keep money out of your pocket, I don't know how you expect fans to fight for you. That is clear what happened. Something happened to Deshaun Watson. They knew more players were going to do it, and they banded together to stop it. Well, if the players aren't going to be outspoken and not going to do anything about it and aren't up to date with what's going on, I just don't know how you expect any change or you expect to kind of drum up any kind of public outcry or sympathy for it. It's already hard enough to get fans on your side. I mean, fans don't side with you on regular business things. We're talking about really, really big business. For the most part, fans usually side with the owners and management. But you got to be willing to fight for yourself. And I'm just not really getting that sense from the NFL players. They're really that interested in fighting about anything, at least related to this topic.
It really explained to me, and it shines a light on this to me. We joke a lot on this show. It's probably not a laughing matter for the players, but we joke a lot about it, that NFL players almost never win in the labor negotiations. I'm starting to see why. I'm starting to understand why when the owners say, hey, we're going to do this now, and the players just kind of get smoked. Like, the NFL added more and more streaming money. The NFL added more and more weekday games. The NFL is, making the offseason less and less and less. Like, they're reporting to camp on July 21st across the NFL. And the players got back smoking weed and one less preseason game. The owners are eventually going to push the season to 20 games. And the immediately. And the players are going to get, I don't even know what they're going to get. Like, the fact that Diana Rossini reported that during a labor Zoom call on a Friday night, they had to be alerted to the news of their own union is why Jerry Jones and Clark Hunt and co. just smoke them. Next time there's a labor negotiation, I have a hunch the owners are going to get over on the players because the players don't seem to be unified, nor do they know what's going on. And it seems more and more like at 25, they're cool with, hey, I don't care if the game's on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I'm ready to play. But when they're 55, they're going to regret those things because the body of an NFL player breaks down more than just on the field. The off the field, there is a wear and tear factor, and the owners continue to get over on them.
Yeah, I think it's really twofold. And again, we don't got to spend all day talking about this. I think it's twofold. Number one, I don't think NFL players are willing to miss anything. They show up for everything. I mean, that's your power and your leverage is we aren't showing up to work until these things happen. If you're not willing to do that, then what are we talking about? And I also think what we see when these things happen is there is such a gap and divide between the players who have got paid real money in the NFL and the players who haven't. Like, if you're Isaiah Pacheco, for example, you can only be so radical, right? Like, you have a very limited earning potential, a very small window of when you can get to this money. Can you afford to kind of rock the boat? Like, there's so many of those guys in the league. that for every Patrick Mahomes or Joe Burrow or player who is going to get really wealthy from playing football, man, there's 5 or 6 guys that, I mean, they're going to do all right for themselves. You know, they're going to make some good money and they're going to set themselves up at 27, 28 to walk away and do all these kind of things. But like, you're not set up for the rest of your life. You still got to go to work. You still got to do those things. So you kind of got to fall in line, the rank and file guys. I think what you see with the NFL union is there's just so many of those guys. And those are the guys always that break. Every single time, those are the ones that break. But if you're telling me that the owners of the league basically conspired against quarterbacks to keep money out of their pocket, and the quarterbacks are not the ones with the most power on the team, if they're not the ones that are most vocal about it, then you lost then. This should be Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen should be on television saying this isn't right, this isn't fair, we want this fixed. If they're not willing to do that, then the system's not why would they change the system? Like, what reason is there to change the system? Everybody seems to be happy with the system. Everybody's making money. We're happy with it. They're happy with it. So I think you're only going to get so far if that's the case. So again, I think Pablo is doing great work. I'm not here to put down Pablo Torre's work. And I think he honestly has affected change. I think the union situation is going to be better. I just think in a lot of ways it is going to fall on deaf ears because I don't know if the players are willing to fight for themselves to get better conditions when we watch the games for them. I'm not watching the games because Jerry Jones is there. I'm not watching the games because Clark Hunt's there. I'm watching the game because the players are there. If they're not willing to withhold some services, then we are going to be in this place forever. Very weird transition to talk about a player who just got a whole lot of money from the National Football League, but George Karlaftis, he just got what the kids would call the bag. He got paid. I do think this is a good, fair deal for both sides. We talked about this last week when there was a rumor, and I think you got to give that Ricky guy a lot of credit. He said this was going to happen less than a week afterwards. So he signed a 4-year, $93 million deal that guarantees him $62 million. If you really look at the deal, it's not really a 4-year, $93 million deal. And yes, it's in guarantees, but the way that it's structured, this actually ends up being a really fair deal for both sides. If you're George, and let's say you're not willing to gamble on yourself, so to speak. Like, this is not a gamble on yourself if you're Karlaftis. It's good money, but this isn't like a blow your socks off kind of deal. That comes with if you go out and create real leverage this offseason. If you go out and you get 13.5 sacks, 14.5 sacks, and now you're viewed as one of those kind of guys, that's where you get your leverage from. But I'm also not going to be mad at you locking up a deal that gets you $62 million. Sure, maybe you could have got $90 million guaranteed if you go out and have a big season, but obviously you're willing to take the money right now. So I get why you would do this. I also understand for the Chiefs' perspective why you would be willing to lock up George Karlaftis now at this price. And when you really look at the deal, this isn't that bad of a contract for the Chiefs. It really isn't. You keep these 2 years of the rookie deal. It really doesn't kick in until year 3 of the contract. And even then, we're talking about $22.5 million that the cap will go up enough over the next 2 years that this just becomes a smaller and smaller percentage of your cap. I did have the initial sticker shock of what I saw when I first saw the deal, and I did think that the Chiefs overpaid a bit for George Karlaftis. I don't know if you can look at it like an overpay now that you see how the deal is structured for him. And to me, a lot of the overpay is your ability to get out of a deal. One of the reasons they overpaid for Jawan Taylor is now that they're stuck. In an ideal world, the Chiefs probably move on from Jawan Taylor. You play Jalen Moore at right tackle, you put Joshua Simmons in at left tackle, and you go from there and everybody's happy, and you take that $20 million and you disperse it elsewhere. But because of how you kind of structure the deal, now Jawan Taylor is guaranteed to be on the team. He's your second highest paid player, and you got to play him this year to justify why he's going to make almost 10% of your cap. I don't think that will ever happen with George Karlaftis' deal. It's just not really binding in that way. Like, some contracts are an anchor to everything that you do. I don't really think that this deal is an anchor that much for the Kansas City Chiefs. This isn't a bad contract, even if George doesn't improve from where he is. Let's say he doesn't take the jump. Not every 25-year-old player takes the jump to that next level. Let's say he stays what he is, and he's an 8.5 sack, 9 sack guy this upcoming season. That's a guy that player still makes $20 million in free agency. Like, if George Karlaftis finished out his rookie deal and hit free agency in 2027. At 26 years old, a guy that consistently gets you 9 sacks, that guy gets 3 years, $60 million. That's just the economics of the way football is headed right now.
I think, and we talked about it last week when we thought this deal was coming, and you're right. Pretty Ricky, whose Twitter picture is a dog with a hat on, is at least batting 1,000 with the Chiefs. I don't know all his predictions, but he's done very well with the Chiefs. I looked at a guy like Gregory Rousseau for the Bills. Now, if you're the average NFL fan driving around in Kansas City on a Monday, you're like, who's Gregory Rousseau? That's fine. He's not a star. He's not a TJ Watt, Myles Garrett, Micah Parsons. He's just a solid pass rusher for the Bills. Last offseason, the Bills gave him 4 for $80, but only 60 some of it was guaranteed. So we know how NFL deals work. It was really like 3 for $60. There's so much funny money. The Chiefs got George Karlaftis locked up for basically the same deal, and I think George Karlaftis is a better player than Gregory Rousseau. So if he continues to produce at the exact same level, there's no step forward, there's no step backwards. He plateaus, and this is what he is. He's an 8.5 sack a season guy, which there is nothing wrong with having one of your edge rushers every year penciled in for 8.5 sacks. You are paying the market price, or maybe even a shade below the market price for that player. Do you still need another elite pass rusher on your line to be great? Yeah. But as of now, the Chiefs do have that in Chris Jones. And by the end of this contract, they're hoping to maybe find that in Karlaftis or find it somewhere else. But if you're telling me you got souped up Gregory Rousseau for a cheaper deal, it is really difficult for me to be upset with that. And if I'm George Karlaftis, money in my pocket is better than the idea of money in my pocket. So this is a win for him too. I know $17.5 million per year from now until the end of the deal doesn't sound like, massive money for a player at his position, but $17.5 million is nothing to sneeze at. This is a win-win-win, and Brett Veach and co. clearly used the Rousseau deal as the precedent, and I think George Karlaftis is better than that guy.
I think an important thing to note in this deal is some things cost. Some things it cost. Like, we don't argue what the cost at quarterback is. We understand how important it is, right? Like, if you want a quarterback, this is what it costs. You can be mad about it, but pay what you pay. There's a high-end market. Every year, like, oh, I can't believe. Well, that's what the market says. Then there's that kind of second tier. I would say that's where Geno is. That's where Sam Darnold is. That's where Baker is. That kind of second tier of quarterbacks. Then there's the 1-year retread option, the Justin Fields, the Russell Wilsons. There's like that group. Someone on the text line says, CDOT, they got premium pass rush for less than what they paid their right guard. I don't think George Karlaftis right now is a premium pass rusher. I think he is a tier 2, maybe tier 3 pass rusher. I just think sometimes, like, we don't factor in, I guess, the totality of what the salary cap is. And just things cost more now because the cap continues to go up. So what used to be a $11, $12 million position is now a $20 million position because the salary cap has doubled in the last 7 years. I think that also factors into this conversation as well. I don't think they got premium pass rush. I think George Karlaftis is a good pass rusher. I think he got a good contract that allows some flexibility that if he takes that next step and he becomes a premier pass rusher in the league, at 26, 27 years old, you can revisit this conversation and it will probably be due for a raise then. If George Karlaftis gets 13.5 sacks for the next couple years, the $22.5 million will not be enough, and they will have to renegotiate this deal because that's just kind of how contracts work in the National Football League. I always say that you don't want to pay a great contract to a good player. I think they gave a good contract to a good player with the possibility that he can become a great player, that he can elevate himself. If we're talking about wide receiver, I would say that George Karlaftis right now is an 800-yard wide receiver that is now about to turn 25, and we will see now if he can take that next step to being an 1,100, 1,200-yard receiver. That's what I think the equivalent is for his position.
I also think the reason there's belief that he can make that step is the Chiefs bought out his prime. Like, yeah, the elite of the elite. TJ Watt still producing at a high level, he's 30. Myles Garrett still producing at a high level, he's 30. But, like, I think pass rushers, kind of like running back, unless it's the super elite, plateau at 29, 30, 31. So the Chiefs are taking the risk that we're going to get the entirety of his prime. If he takes that step forward, it's going to be in a Chiefs jersey. If he plateaus, we got the best of him while in a Chiefs jersey, and we will figure it out. Like that, the Chiefs, we joke about it in free agency. They target guys who are 25 to 26, 27. They basically bought up those years of George Karlaftis earlier this weekend. That's what they did. They bought his prime.
Coming up at the top of the hour, we'll get back to the Kansas City Chiefs. Let's head to the phone lines right now to be joined by Jordan Enriquez Roberts. He is the GM for the K-State team. So we had Sherron Collins on the show earlier. He's with the KU team. They play K-State coming up later today in TBT, the basketball tournament. That is at 8 o'clock down at Municipal. Jordan, happy to have you join us on the show. How cool is it to be the GM and bring so many Wildcats together for an event like this?
It's special, man. It gives guys the opportunity for a couple things, to get ready to head back out, ramp up before they head out for their 10-month grind, wherever they are overseas in whatever countries that they're playing in. And then just being able to connect the dots between different generations of basketball guys that may have played for the same coach or somebody different, but we all wore the same jersey. So just bringing guys back together and those guys taking times away from their family and loved ones to be here, it's truly special.
Right now, we're talking to Jordan Enriquez Roberts. He is the GM for Purple Rain. The Kansas State alums are going against JHX Hoops. That is the KU alumni squad. They're going to play later today, 8 o'clock at Municipal. How hard did you try to get Mike Beasley to do this? I know he's doing some ball with the Big Three, but I imagine you guys obviously would want him to play on this team.
Absolutely. For the last few years, I've gone after Mike. And this year we even landed a sponsor, and my guy, he just beat Lance Stevenson in that one-on-one for $200,000. So my offer, respectively, just wasn't enough. I will get him eventually. You're starting to see more guys that are part of that Big Three platform that have big names in the Big Three, starting to play in TBT now, like Montrezl Harrell. Guys like him, who was the sixth man of the year, still takes the time between Big Three to come out and, play for the fans for Louisville. So just guys like him, I'm pretty sure that kind of motivates Bees a little bit in playing, because I have conversations with him. He's a friend of mine, about playing in TBT, and I know he wants to be a part of it. So, that day will come. He's not hanging it up no time soon. He's too skilled just to hang it up right away.
How cool is it to get Jacob Pullen to play in this thing? I imagine he could be playing in the Big Three. He could be doing some other stuff. He's K-State royalty. His number should be up in the rafters. How cool is it to have him play?
It's special, man. Jake is a really, really good friend of mine. We also played together at K-State my freshman and sophomore year during his junior and senior year. And for him to come out and play and put on for the fans, especially with us co-hosting the region in Kansas City this year, I know it's big time. This is the first year, his daughter, had a chance to watch him play, in some form of purple. So for him, I know it's big time. And he's almost at the end of the road. So, I want to get as many young guys that played after him to be a part of it, to play with him.
What does being a Wildcat mean to you? You spent 4 years of your life there. You coached there. You're very much connected with the community and the basketball program and the athletic department. What does being a Wildcat mean to you?
Man, what it means to be a Wildcat, man, I tell people all the time I bleed purple, man. Just to be a part of a community, a part of an alumni fan base that bleeds purple, that supports every sport throughout the programs that they have there. It means a lot to me. Just to come back to Manhattan and eat at my favorite restaurant, just to sit down, whether it's by myself or with friends. Man, it's just, Manhattan is really special to me. Kansas is really my second home, especially Manhattan, the Little Apple, being from the Big Apple.
You still have a connection to the basketball program. You guys have missed the NCAA tournament the last couple of years. What do you think the Wildcats need to do to get back on track, to get back to competing for Big 12 championships, to get back to making a deep run in the NCAA tournament?
I think the number one thing is buying into Coach Tank's culture, buying into his culture. Those guys that bought into his culture a few years ago in his first year there, you've seen the results in the run that they made in the NCAA tournament. Guys were bought in. Yes, the game's a little bit different now with NIL and the transfer portal, but essentially it was, when Coach Tank first came into K-State. So if those guys buy in with that coaching staff, they should be able to compete in the Big 12, yet alone make a run in the NCAA tournament.
I know, Jordan, sometimes you got to sit there and think that you were born like 5 years too early because now, you from New York, 7-footer, you would have got paid in today's game.
Agreed. Yeah, man, I think about that a lot, man. Actually, with the older guys that's here now that was a part of the Frank Martin, culture with his tenure here, and a little bit of the guys who with Bruce Weber, we talk about that stuff now, man. But, at the end of the day, that's just life. But, I'm happy for the guys that are going to get a check.
No, for sure. I mean, I'm just thinking now, man. I mean, Jacob Pullen and Mike Beasley, they'd have been rolling around Manhattan with like purple Hummers back in the day.
Yeah, right. You know what I mean? And that was probably the car to have.
That is Jordan Enriquez Roberts joining us on the show. He is the general manager for Purple Rain. The K-State alumni are playing the KU alumni coming up later today at the basketball tournament. You can catch it down at Municipal. It is the round of 32. I believe it is $1 million on the line. Is that correct? That's what
Absolutely.
the prize is?
$1 million on the line. Yes, sir.
Absolutely. Jordan, great stuff, man. I'm pulling for you guys tonight.
Thank you. See you there.
Absolutely. That's Jordan Enriquez Roberts. Good luck to K-State. I guess good luck to Kansas. They play each other in a basketball game. You know what? I'm just hoping to see an entertaining action on the court between KU and K-State. Rob, I got to ask you a Kansas basketball question coming up on the other side. We'll also be joined by Mike Giannetti with Spotrak. If you have ever heard us talk about contracts or salary cap or any of those things, our information came from Spotrak. Mike Giannetti founded the site. He'll be on with us coming up at 4 o'clock. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Hey guys, it's Carrington Harrison from The Drive. Summer is officially here, and that means the sun is out and the grill is hot and life is calling you. But what if you're just not feeling it? Low energy, brain fog, maybe you have no drive. It might not just be your age. It could be low testosterone. At Heartland Men's Health, they know what you're going through, and they know exactly how to help. Low T can lead to poor sleep, weight gain, low sex drive, and zero motivation, but it doesn't have to be that way. Do you know what the first step is? It's taking the free Low T quiz at heartlandmenshealth.com. It only takes 2 minutes. Then schedule your $99 consult. That includes lab work and a full medical review. And if your treatment starts that day, that means your visit is on the house. Don't wait. Heartland Men's Health is changing lives in Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City. Call this number, 844-447-6600, or visit heartlandmenshealth.com today. That one phone call can change your life, can change your summer. So get back to feeling like yourself. Pick up the phone and call Heartland Men's Health today.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
BetMGM is making your next golf tournament winner bets more exciting with Second Chance. What's Second Chance? Ever bet on your favorite golfer to win a tournament only to see them miss the green? Well, with BetMGM's Second Chance promotion, you'll get your stake back in cash if your tournament winner bet finishes in second instead. That's right. Simply bet on any player to win a scheduled golf tournament during a promotional week. If you're right, you win. But if your pick finishes in second instead of first, you get your stake back in cash. Watch your favorite players go for the win all season long and bet knowing you'll get your stake back if they finish second. Log in today and make your picks with confidence with BetMGM. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards paid back in unrestricted withdrawable funds. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
I love Hy-Vee, and I love the fact that they're always finding new ways to save me money, like lower prices in every department. And on top of that, I save so much money at the pump with Hy-Vee's awesome fuel saver deals. Monday, July 21st, earn a 40-cent discount per gallon with every $60 in groceries you purchase. So you can stock up for the summertime fun and stack up all of those fuel savings. Seeing that number roll back at the pump is so much fun, and saving money's even better. And you can do it with gas and groceries only at Hy-Vee.
If you love finding the deal and a bargain brings you bliss, the Hy-Vee 5-day sidewalk sale is cause for celebration. This Wednesday through Sunday, stock up and save big on dozens of pantry staples, like Roma pizzas, 4 for $10, Pepsi 24 packs, $9.99, Frito-Lay's chips, just $1.99, Gatorade 8-pack bottles, just $5.99, and Sunbelt granola bars, 4 for $10. Hurry to the huge 5-day sidewalk sale this week, only at Hy-Vee.
If you could hear Old Spice Fiji Antiperspirant, what would it sound like? First, you'd start with Fiji Antiperspirant's amazing scent of palm trees. Add pure notes of fresh coconut and layer on 24/7 odor and sweat protection. You won't hear any dyes or parabens because with Fiji, you won't have any. So while your regular antiperspirant sounds like this, Old Spice Fiji sounds like this. Sounds like it smells amazing.
When it comes to back-to-school shopping at Target, you can choose not to choose. From getting what you need to expressing who you are. With prices that make every choice feel right, why not choose all of the above? From backpacks, bedazzled kicks, and Picture Day Perfect styles as bold as they are. For bring your own lunch days to science project partner days, snack stash days, decorate your locker days, and paint outside the line days. All at prices that will definitely make your day. For all of the above, it's back to school at Target.
Chiefs coverage brought to you by Metal by the Foot, your metal project superstore.
For over 36 years, Metal by the Foot has been your source for steel, aluminum, brass, and stainless. Located in Casey and Topeka. Online at metalbythefoot.com. When you need a piece of metal, remember, metal doesn't have to cost an arm or a leg, just the foot.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
I-435, both directions between 23rd Street and I-70 remains congested due to a broken down vehicle in the road. Westbound 435 is fully closed just off US 54 through Thursday, and you should seek an alternate route. I'm Bill Brooks, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
Subscribe to 96.5 The Fan on YouTube to watch the show from wherever you are.
All right, Rob, a couple things popped in my head. First thing is, this is not an Adidas joke. I swear to you it's not. Let's say over the history of Bill Self's time there, who's somebody you think would have like really cleaned up in NIL? I think Sherron's like near the top of the list. Like junior, senior Sherron, just to stay and not transfer. Just a lot of guys are getting paid and getting raises just so they don't transfer. Like, I don't think that's a part of the portal that we talk about. Like, you always have the threat of, well, I'll just leave. And like, wait, no, stay. Hey, we'll make sure you're good. Who's some guys you think would have just absolutely got paid at KU? Because we were like laughing and joking about Michael Beasley. Michael Beasley, if they had the same NIL rules that they had now, Michael Beasley would have got like $5 million to go to Manhattan.
Michael Beasley would have made more money than Avery Johnson makes now. And Avery Johnson had a purple Lamborghini, what was his car? He had a crazy car.
Corvette. Yeah, he had a Corvette.
Michael Beasley would have had crazy money. Okay.
Basically, I'm sorry to cut you off, but basically what happened to AJ DeBansta, that would have been Michael Beasley. Like, they'd have got the #1 high school player to Manhattan, Kansas. It just wasn't going to be cheap to get him to go there.
I'm trying to think the guys. I mean, obviously the answer is like all the tops, like the highest star guys, like Xavier Henry, Andrew Wiggins, all the Joel Embiid, the guys who were like 5-star premium players would have all gotten paid because that's what happens.
Wiggins would have got, because you got to think too, Wiggins, the Toronto, the international, Wiggins would have got paid.
Wiggins would have gotten paid. I'm trying to think of the guys that were like at Kansas and made the leap and would have been paid to stay. Like Thomas Robinson would have been paid to stay a senior year, maybe. That would have been a huge number. Marcus Morris, too.
I actually think that after his sophomore year, he probably would have got paid.
True.
Like heading into that junior year, he probably also would have got a big bag, too. A lot of why these guys are transferring is I think they like where they are in certain places. You know how it is. You get a call from this place, they're going to give you a $100,000 raise. It's kind of hard to pass on that money. Guys are entering the portal. Don't contact me. I already know where I'm going. Anytime you have a do not contact with the portal, everybody already knows the vibes. Oh, well, you've already made a decision where you want to go. You just got a raise. So I do think a lot of that is happening with a lot of these guys too. I know we got to get to Mike Ginnetti coming up at the top of the hour, so let me get this question out, and then we'll catch up with Mike Ginnetti. If the Chiefs plan on signing one of those veteran wide receivers, they need to do so kind of quick, right? Like, if you think the Chiefs, now with the Rashee Rice news, now that, hey, the criminal part is over, and I think we all anticipate that a suspension is going to happen at some point in 2025. I can't tell you when, but I think we all know at some point this season, Rashee Rice is going to miss some time. If you really want them to go get Keenan Allen, or you really want them to go get Amari Cooper, that's kind of it. If we're talking about those veteran wideouts, don't you need to kind of get them going now? I mean, training camp is about to start. What else is Amari Cooper doing right now? All your other peers are going back to work. Now, maybe you're waiting for an injury, but if you're the Chiefs, I don't know if you need to wait for an injury, because in this context, an injury is about to happen. You're going to miss a player for an unknown period of time. You know that. So if you really want Keenan Allen, why don't you go get him? The team, and I know you guys are gonna make fun of me for this, the team that should go get Keenan Allen is the Chargers. Like, they just lost Mike Williams to retirement. Your wide receiver room is already thin. You know the organization, you know the team, you know the franchise. Like, I don't know why Keenan Allen's not on the Chargers right now. And the fact that the Chargers haven't done the deal also just gives me like a little pause for concern. But Amari Cooper, because the moment 2 or 3 other teams pick up an injury, the market that is there and is obviously dwindling because of where we are in the calendar is just going to pick back up. Now, I don't think the Chiefs are going to end up making one of those kind of moves. They just had a little tryout or whatever, and it looks like they just picked up some undrafted guy. I don't think the Chiefs are making a move. I think the Chiefs are going to ride it out with what they have at wide receiver.
We talked about this with the Rashee Rice news. First off, you stole the Keenan Allen thing out of my mouth. Maybe you think Amari Cooper's I don't care. Of all the veteran guys, Davis, Cooper, Keenan Allen, whoever the best of that group is, I think should be a Charger, and a Charger soon. They just flashed it up on, I have NFL Live on back here. The Chargers wide receiver room is still bad. It's Ladd McConkey.
It ain't good.
If you think Quentin Johnston's taking a step forward, cool.
He can't catch.
It's Darius Davis, Trey Harris. That's the room. So I think other teams are going to learn quickly. They're in more dire straits than the Chiefs. I also think the Chiefs don't usually make that veteran, let's bring him into camp move now. They usually wait till the end of camp. They usually let the whoever the undrafted free agent wide receiver is. Well, whoever the Nico Remigio is of this team, we'll figure out who that is tomorrow when camp starts. They usually let that guy work through camp and see if he's NFL ready. When they have added players, it's right before the preseason. Remember, they added Juju Smith-Schuster a year ago. They're like, yep, we're going to go get him back. They did the same thing with McCole Hartman, I believe. They have historically waited till camp is over. Teams are cutting down to 53. Let's see if there's a guy who fits what we want to do, has a backdrop, has a similar, scheme, fit, all those things. We'll wait until August 28th. That's when they make their move. That wouldn't shock me if it's McCole or someone like that then. I don't think they're making a move to get a body in St. Joe where you guys know the name of him. I think it's going to be CFL star or something.
Yeah, I would agree. No, you and I are on the same page about this. The Chiefs, usually, they're not the team to go pick up Amari Cooper at this point in the season. They might make a trade during the year. We've seen them do that before. They did that last year to go pick up DeAndre Hopkins. It's possible that they'll make a trade for a position during the season, but late July, heading into camp, they're usually not the organization that's going to grab the veteran player who's played on 3 teams in the last 3 seasons that isn't a part of their family. They'll do that for Juju. They'll do that for Kareem Hunt. They'll do that for McCole Hardman. They very, very rarely do this. So I'm curious, because that was a conversation that we had. Someone on the text line says, if you're a vet, do you want to sign with the team or till the end of camp? I was actually thinking this over the weekend. I don't know why it just randomly popped in my mind. I mean, I don't think anybody likes training camp, but if you're a player and you're already at the end of the road, so to speak, man, I'm trying to get myself on a team as soon as possible. I'm trying to learn the playbook as soon as possible, and I'm trying to give myself the best chance to succeed. Like, Amari Cooper could just be out the league soon. Like, sometimes these guys they fade away. Hey, you played 8-9 years in the league. Next thing you know, we look up and, hey, Amari Cooper retired. He was 32 years old when he retired. So, maybe ideally it's, I don't want to go to camp. I don't know if you can have the season that Amari Cooper had, You've already missed all of training camp, or I guess all of free agency. After the draft, nobody hit your phone. I don't know if you can wait until the end of August and then think that puts you in the best position to have a good season. What Amari Cooper needs is to get back playing well, have 700 yards this year, be a contributor on the team, show he can stay healthy, have reliable hands. Sometimes a situation can go bad and can kind of change things for you. That's what happened in Buffalo. The Bills gave up real assets to go get Amari Cooper, and he laid an egg. He stunk for the most part. So I think it's in it. If I'm Amari Cooper's agent, I'm trying to get you on a team right now. I'm trying to show that you're in shape. I'm trying to show that you're focused, and I'm trying to show that you can still play at a high level because it did not look like it last season. Coming up at the top of the hour, we'll be joined by Mike Ginnetti of Spotrak. If you have ever heard us talk about contracts or the salary cap, we were talking about information we got from Spotrak. Mike Ginnetti is the founder and creator of the website. He's going to join us next. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
Hey, it's Cole Reagans from the Kansas City Royals. You're listening to The Drive with CDOT on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
I-435, both directions between 23rd Street and I-70 remains congested due to a broken-down vehicle in the road. Westbound 435 is fully closed just off US 54 through Thursday, and you should seek an alternate route. I'm Bill Brooks, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments including pills, chews, and more. 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, HIMS.com/JOY.
Car wreck? Get the money you deserve. Mike's got this.
Paid for, client portrayal, and endorsement. Choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
After my car wreck, there was a lot I didn't know.
I do know. If you've been hurt in a car wreck, call me. I've got this.
Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Ready for the job that you actually want? It's not too late to build that career that you've been dreaming of with careers that you can start in as little as 4 months.
Take it from Prince, a recent graduate through the Centric IT career program, who said the journey has not only given me a strong foundation in information technology, but has also helped me grow as a person in ways I never expected.
That and so many other students with great experiences at Centric. Get that new career in as little as 4 months. Go talk to Russ Mondry over at Centric.com.
What we've been doing is pulling one of the people that sells a car every month and giving them a prize.
Give Me the VIN is giving away $25,000 in cash every month.
David Ling sold your car last
I sold a 2020 RX 350.
Yeah. Open that check up and tell me what it says.
$25,000.
$25,000. Give me that. David Ling of Claremont, California is the latest winner in GiveMeTheVIN.com's big cash giveaway. $25,000. What am I getting for being here? No purchase necessary. For official rules, go to GiveMeTheVIN.com. Sell us your car.
Hey friends, it's noisy out there with information coming at us all day, every day. It's hard to know what to trust, and the world of wealth management is no exception. That's why UMB Private Wealth Management helps you tune out the noise and tune into what matters most. They'll create a financial plan based on your unique goals, so it's your voice that comes through loud and clear. Get financial clarity. Go to umb.com/privatewealth to schedule an appointment. That's umb.com/privatewealth.
At CertaPro Painters, we know that a happy place comes in many colors, like ones that inspire a sense of wonder, or a new flavor that makes life just a little bit sweeter, or one to celebrate those moments that lift you to new heights, at home or at work. We'll make your happy place your own. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
Need to sell your house in Kansas City but not sure where to start? Selling a home can feel overwhelming, especially if you're facing foreclosure, a divorce, an inherited property you don't want, or just need to move quickly. But you don't have to figure it out alone. Rex Buys KC is here to help. As a local home buyer, I understand the Kansas City market inside and out. My family and I live right here, so I know the neighborhoods, the trends, and the challenges homeowners face. That's why I take a consultative approach, helping you explore your options and find the best path forward. We buy houses in any condition, no need for repairs, no agent commissions, and no hidden fees. You'll receive a fair cash offer with a closing timeline that works for you. Whether that's in as little as 7 days or at your own pace, just a simple, hassle-free process designed around your needs. If you're ready to talk through your options, call me today at 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com. Let's find the right solution for you. Rex Buys KC. Local, fair, and focused on you.
Brought to you by America's largest pickleball festival, PickleCon. PickleCon presents pickleball like you've never seen it. PickleCon takes over Kansas City August 7th through 10th. Tournaments, clinics, puppy yoga, glow-in-the-dark play, and more. Register now at picklecon.com.
Thursday, August 7th on Fesco and Dusty is Travis Kelce Appreciation Day.
Kelce near side, he makes the catch and rolls into the end zone off the right shoulder.
Right here on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2. Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
Welcome back into the drive on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. You know, when we talk contracts, there's only one person to go to, Mike Giannetti. He is the creator of the website Spotrak. If you've ever heard us talk about the salary cap or contracts on this show, that's where we get our information from. Mike, happy to have you join us today.
My pleasure.
Absolutely. So let's start with this. What's your reaction to the George Karlaftis deal?
Yeah, this was one was a maybe for me heading into the offseason just because there was, so many horses to get done here, including Trent McDuffie, which sort of sits in limbo now. But nice move to get it done this early with 2 years left on the rookie contract, get to spread it out over 6 years. There's some incentives for him to get a little higher here. I think it hits all the notes, and it's early for him as well, which means if he's still producing at a high level in 2-3 seasons, he's going to get a brand new extension before 30 years old, which is uber important to these players.
A couple of things really stood out to me. Number one, I mean, this is the earliest that you could possibly do it at the end of his third year. I think when I first saw it, I got a little bit of sticker shock, and I was thinking that's a lot of money for George Karlaftis. But when you see the way that this contract is structured and how they kind of spread it out, I mean, it kind of fits the best of both worlds. I would say it's kind of team-friendly toward the front of the deal, but it also allows George Karlaftis an opportunity that if he turns into Max Crosby, for example, it allows him the opportunity to restructure this at 27, 28 years old.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And there's no question that there's going to be some value up front here. We're looking at some early numbers that are coming in, and it seems like they kept things pretty tempered in year one. Smaller on the signing bonus side. My guess is a big option bonus in year two, as has been the structure for a lot of these bigger contracts going forward. But, the name of the game is this 3-year window now, because that's what Patrick Mahomes is dealing with on his contract. He's $50 million plus in cash the next 3 years, and then it drops off immensely in 2028. And if you look at where these extensions elsewhere kind of land, that's the going rate with these guarantees. I would expect Karlaftis to be right inside this window as well, with basically a 3-year guarantee. So that's the window of this current financial structure and the economy of the Chiefs, 2025 through 2027, and then there may be very, very, very robust changes after that.
Mike, you mentioned the value of doing this early. How much money do you think the Chiefs potentially saved by doing it after year 3 as opposed to waiting until after year 4?
Yeah, well, when you get it out of 6 years total, it's less than $18 million a year in terms of that full APY. So if you're waiting until next year, you sliver off a year probably. You're at a higher threshold with the salary cap when you're talking percentages of that. So, is it 22, 23 million a year at that point in time, maybe even higher? So there's a world where on a total basis, you're dealing with $6 million of savings per year for a player that, like you said, probably hasn't even crescendoed yet with his prime and the production he can put out there on the field.
Mike, I'm curious if you think it was in George's best interest to do this deal now as opposed to wait. Like, let's say you're him. Let's say you go out, you ball out this season, you have 13 sacks. You certainly have a much higher floor that you are dealing with if you go out and do it. Do you think it was a smart bet to take this deal early?
No question. For all the reasons I've sort of hit already, which is A, right? So if he's got 3 amazing years ahead of him, he's still ahead of that 27-year-old prime age in this league when he'll be looking for that re-up and that extension. So that's reason one. Reason two is you want to be on one of these contending teams as you're pushing towards your second or third contract. He's in one of the best buildings you can possibly be in, and in this 3-year window with Patrick Mahomes at his absolute prime as well. So you get paid a little bit now, maybe 80% of his value today. 3 years down the road, he's at a perfect age to re-up and maximize that value, even if it has to be elsewhere in 2028.
Mike, we certainly see that teams do these deals differently. The Cowboys, I would say they are sort of the example of what not to do. The Eagles, they're pretty proactive when it comes to these deals. Do you think that this George Karlaftis deal, like this is the blueprint? If you have a good player, the way that Karlaftis has been good, he hasn't been a great player, but he's been a good player. Is this sort of the blueprint of the kind of deal that you want to do?
Yeah, we've certainly got teams at the extremes, right? I think the Eagles are the most active with the early extension. Dallas and Cincinnati are on the other side of that spectrum. I think the Chiefs like to live in the middle a little bit, right? They certainly have let players get all the way to free agency and use that franchise tag as a moniker to sort of negotiate through it, like as they've just done with Trey Smith. But for some of these slam dunk situations, like Karlaftis, and I would expect with McDuffie as well, it seems like earlier the better, especially when age is on everybody's side, and you can negotiate a structure where year one, maybe even year two, still kind of resemble that rookie contract. So that's sort of how I'm reading the tea leaves here with Karlaftis, that the compromise was a little bit less cash up front for the earlier extension for his benefit as well.
All right, let's talk about what this means for Trent McDuffie. We have seen the top end of the corner market already been paid. Patrick Surtain has been paid. Derek Stingley has been paid. We saw Sauce Gardner get a big contract this offseason, J.C. Horn. So a lot of those guys that are in that same caliber, around the same age as Trent McDuffie, have already gotten paid. He hasn't gotten paid. What do you make of that?
It's going to be a monster. He's absolutely in this conversation, if not deservedly near the top of this conversation. So if there's any inkling that this is going to look and smell like Sauce Gardner's deal, it's probably going even north of that because of the age, the production, the situation. The Jets certainly had to overpay a little bit to get those guys to sign the dotted lines over there. But generally speaking, the McDuffie deal is going to be around that $30 million per year. I would expect it to be a 4-year deal, just like Sauce got in New York, so 6 years total. And if you're doing the quick math on that, if we put a 3-year guarantee on that, that's around $90-95 million, which would be historic. But again, falls in line with the window of contention that we're dealing with Mahomes here. So I'd put it near 4 for 125-ish with 85 to 90 in guaranteed, and he'll be right there with this bunch. You're right. It's been an explosive offseason at this position and well-deserved.
Are you surprised that the Chiefs got the Karlaftis deal done first? Just given Trent McDuffie is the better player, we could kind of argue positional value. If you want the top flight corner or the pass rusher, I think they're pretty comparable, at least if we're arguing positional value. Are you surprised that the Karlaftis deal got done first?
I'm only surprised because of what we're talking about with this cornerback situation, where it seemed like the momentum kept building every single time a new one was there, right? There were 5 or 6 candidates this offseason, so you knew the price was going to continue to jump, and that certainly hasn't been the case with the edge rusher situation, especially the rookie extension version of the edge rusher. Obviously, we've got some older players seeking major contracts right now. But, yeah, I'm a little surprised that McDuffie wasn't one of the priorities, just to sort of get ahead of that train, that locomotive that's been pushing through all summer. But at the end of the day, I think the numbers are going to speak for themselves, and getting both these guys done right around the camp here was probably always the precedent for that front office.
Mike, we saw Kansas City let L'Jarius Sneed go when they traded him. Do you think there's a scenario that they do the same thing with Trent McDuffie?
Boy, it's a great question. They've certainly done it in the past 3-4 times here, and it's been kind of eye-popping every time. I don't think so. I will say this. If nothing gets done this summer, that is the conversation to start having, right? Because then the agent's probably starting to push for a situation where it's time to get paid. We don't want to play more football without getting paid. And that's when these trade discussions really start to take to the surface. So If they fail in getting this thing done over the course of the next 6 weeks, absolutely that becomes a surface conversation to start the 2025 season.
Because a lot of people, at least here locally, are making the point that the Chiefs have never really paid big money for a corner, and Veach and his team have shown a great ability to draft a corner. They drafted Snead, they drafted Trent McDuffie, Jalen Watson. That's kind of been the argument here is we can move on from McDuffie. Let's say you get a first and a third because he's a 25-year-old corner, and you just start the process all over again. My belief is just, hey, if you feel like you got one of the best players in the league at a premium position, those are just not guys that I'm not willing to walk away, especially a guy who's been healthy and is the age that McDuffie is.
I agree. And, you're not going to have ample opportunities to take cornerbacks like this in the first round because of who you are, because of where you end up in this draft every year. So I think you've got the guy. He's the guy. He fits your scheme and your system. He's young enough. You have a chance right now to put him on a 6-year total contract like these other cornerbacks have been generating with early extensions. It just makes too much sense to keep him versus try to kind of play money ball here and go back to the draft pool or maybe even the free agency pool next year and try to get some value.
We haven't got a chance to talk since Trey Smith signed his contract. My biggest argument is just positional value. That's just not a lot of money that I'm spending for an interior offensive lineman. The Chiefs just don't value positional value like that. They gave Nick Bolton a new deal. They gave Creed Humphrey a new deal. Now they've given their right guard a deal. What do you of Trey Smith's new contract?
Yeah, these right guards are getting paid. I mean, my goodness, what they had to give up in Joe Thuney, right, who got himself a couple years guaranteed out in Chicago, to keep Trey Smith at this price. There's just no more blank checks on the offensive line anymore. Every single position, the center position, as you saw with Humphrey, has been reset. The only value position on this line right now is that left tackle, which they've been trying to figure out in Kansas City for 3-4 years now. So you understand what they're doing. They're just trying to make sure that they have the right guys in place, again, for this 3-year window. And that's obviously where the Trey Smith contract lines up. It's an overpay. There's no question it's an overpay. But this is one of those situations, Carrington, where they got themselves to the finish line on a franchise tag, and they really kind of had to play, small ball with this one because the deadline was right there. So player kind of went out on this one a little bit. That doesn't happen in Kansas City too often, but we'll see just how much bang for buck they can get on really what's going to be a 3 years for a little over $70 million total over the next 3 seasons.
Yeah, that's why, now thinking about how they handled this Karlaftis deal, I'm a little bit surprised that they put the franchise tag on him and basically made his floor $23.4 million. You would think kind of in that same vein, especially for a player who was a 6th-round pick who just hasn't seen real big NFL money yet, that if you had done this deal a year ago, you probably could have saved $10-12 million.
Yeah, I think the Thuney situation really kind of got them a little bit locked up, right? They wanted to keep him around for one extra year. That might have been by the request of the quarterback even. So they got stuck having to wait on Smith because of how much money Thuney was costing them in 2023. So I do think that they were able to certainly subtract the Thuney contract this year, get a little value from the trade, and use some of that money to build in about a third of this contract. So you can see the financials working in their favor here for a year or two. But hopefully it doesn't end up being a Juwan Taylor type situation where they're stuck with a guaranteed year they don't want for one more season.
This is something that we've been talking about. I'm curious to kind of have this conversation with you from a financial standpoint. I think that Jalen Moore and Juwan Taylor are going to start largely because of the contracts. Juwan Taylor's the second highest paid player on the team. His salary cap counts for 9% of the Chiefs' cap. You gave Jalen Moore $21 million guaranteed. I know Josh Simmons, first-round pick. Maybe he's ahead of schedule when it comes to a health-wise. I'm not sure if you can sit Jalen Moore on the bench or Juwan Taylor just given how much money they make this season.
It's a great problem to have if they've hit on these drafts and certainly on some of these acquisitions. But you're right. It's going to be tough to sit $20 million in terms of Juwan Taylor. But there's been a lot of reasons to roll your eyes a little bit at some of his production and some of his play. So, maybe at the end of the day, what's happening here is that's one of the players that ends up getting moved, even if Kansas City has to retain some of that salary near the trade deadline. I certainly put him at the top of the list of potential, at least, to have some movement here through training camp and maybe into the season.
Yeah, I look at Juwan Taylor's deal is I think fans hear restructure and they think that the player is taking a pay cut. The restructure normally just gives him more and more leverage that the Chiefs have kind of moved Juwan Taylor's contract around, that now they've put themselves a little bit behind the 8 ball. It's relative given the Chiefs, but they've kind of put themselves in a situation because they restructured Juwan Taylor's deal last offseason.
Yeah, but we've seen that work, right? That's the exact reason some teams actually say yes in trades now, right? Is if you're retaining enough of this money, the Amari Cooper and a few others that happened at the deadline last offseason, or last November, I should say, that might be attractive. So if they can figure out where these young guys can slot in and actually get some serious playing time, that albatross of a contract, which already been paid off first in the conversion, can actually become a pretty good trade piece and maybe even bring back 2 or 3 draft picks at the end of the day.
That is our guy Mike Giannetti with Spotrak joining us on the show today. If you've ever heard us talk contract on this show, we get our information from one place, Mike Giannetti over at Spotrak. Mike, you guys do fantastic work. I can't sing your praises enough, man. Really appreciate your time.
It's always a pleasure. Thank you.
Absolutely. That is Mike Giannetti of Spotrak joining us on the show. We'll react to what he had to say coming up on the other side. The Chiefs give George Karlaftis a big deal. What does that mean for Trent McDuffie? Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Hi, Zoe Saldana. Welcome to T-Mobile. Here's your new iPhone 16 Pro on us.
Thanks. And here's my old phone to trade in.
You don't need a trade-in. When you switch to T-Mobile, we'll give you a new iPhone 16 Pro. Plus, we'll help you pay off your old phone up to $800, and you still get to keep it.
There's always a trade-in.
Not right now at T-Mobile.
I feel like I have to give you something in return for karma.
That's okay.
I don't really have much in my purse. Oh, let's see. Hand sanitizer. It's lavender.
I'm good. Seriously.
Let me check this pocket. Oh, mints?
Really, I'm fine.
Oh, I have raisins. I'm a mom. Wait 1 sec. I've got cupcakes in the car.
It's our best iPhone offer ever. Switch to T-Mobile. Get a new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on us. No trade-in needed. We'll even pay off your phone up to $800.
With 24 monthly bill credits, new line $100 plus a month on experience beyond finance agreement $999.99 and qualifying forwarded. For well qualified plus tax and $10 connection charge. Payout via virtual prepaid card. Allow 15 days. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. See T-Mobile.com.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
That's the sound of James adding long-lasting Gain scent boosters to his laundry this morning. Several hours later, James sniffs the irresistible scent of Gain on his shirt. Gain. Several hours later, James has even caught the attention of his mother-in-law, and she never gives him attention.
Ooh, you smell amazing, James.
Oh, thanks, Mom. I love you too.
I never said that.
Add Gain scent boosters to your laundry. Add joy to your day.
Flooded bathroom? AC on the fritz? When things go wrong, you need reliable service fast. Call Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter and take $50 off any HVAC, plumbing, or electrical repair over $200. The pros at Hamilton are ready 7 days a week to fix the problem. Over 40 years experience, more than 8,000 five-star reviews, plus our exceptional service guarantee means you can trust Hamilton to bring comfort and calm back to your home. Visit callhamilton.com for detailed terms and conditions. License number 2025-11121.
Numerous brands to choose from, endless options, one incredible experience. At Aristocrat Motors, we treat every driver like royalty and offer the finest luxury vehicle experience in Kansas City. Come see us today and let us roll out the red carpet for you.
The new Omaha Steak Store is now open at the Fountains in Overland Park. Stop in to save 50% off store-wide, plus get doorbuster deals. And join us July 26th for prizes, free samples, and the Chiefs cheerleaders with Casey Wolf from 1 till 3 p.m.
It is out of here.
Man, if your stream isn't as strong as it used to be, or you're taking more breaks to the bathroom than the 7th inning stretch of a televised baseball game,
We'll be back after this.
it's time to get checked. An enlarged prostate or early signs of prostate cancer could be the cause, and Kansas City Urology Care is here to help. Fast answers, trusted care. Don't wait. Come see Kansas City's largest, most experienced, and most advanced urology team. Visit kcuc.com today. At KCUC, you see the best in KC.
Hey, listen to this. All I needed was a new starter. Got a great deal on eBay. Did it myself.
Yeah, that's cool. But how about the soft purr of an upgraded exhaust when it fits just right?
For me, it's the little things, like these new windshield wipers from eBay I installed.
From small fixes to big upgrades, eBay has all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Eat up, buddy. It's almost time for school.
You take charge of your home. You take charge of your work. Don't forget to take charge of your gut health too with Nature Made Probiotics. Nature Made has clinically studied probiotics that work with your digestive tract's natural bacteria, so you won't miss a beat in your daily routine. Find us in the vitamin aisle. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Tonight will be partly cloudy with a low of 78.
Weather brought to you by Staples. Have you heard? The Staples Easy button is back with even more easy. Press it for custom prints, shipping services, even passport photos. Staples. That was easy.
Chiefs coverage sponsored by Renner Garage Door. RENNER forward and back.
Almost Andy Reid here. Renner Garage Door has proudly served KC for nearly 70 years. Get your free estimate today. RENNER forward and back.
RENNER. RENNER.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
US 71 is sluggish, east 75th to Highway 210. Northbound 35 slows down at 169 up to 635, and the northbound 169 ramp to westbound 9 is closed. I'm Bill Brooks, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. Be sure to follow The Drive on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
All right, let's talk about this. These are the top two texts. It sounds as if your guy, Mike Giannetti, thinks that if Trent McDuffie isn't signed by the start of the season, that Veach prioritized DN over corner. A lot of us said this after the Trey Smith deal. Veach doesn't like paying corners that much money. The Chiefs as a whole haven't really paid a corner since Brandon Flowers. Someone else sent in, very similar thought. I'm not confident in the Chiefs re-signing Trent McDuffie. We haven't seen them do that with corners, as we've seen time and time again at other draft picks that they have a knack for drafting incredibly well at that position. I would counter with two things, which now I feel like I've become the let's pay Trent McDuffie guy, which I'm not really sure how I've become. It feels like I'm in the minority when it comes to that opinion. But hey, I've been corner dot before. I don't mind being corner dot again. This is where I would challenge it just a little bit. I don't know if we have enough evidence to say that Brett Veach won't pay a corner because he wouldn't pay one corner. I guess you could argue Charvarius Ward, but that really wasn't a contract that at the time a lot of people were saying, hey, we should keep Charvarius Ward. We're talking about this entire opinion really being centered around not paying two people, one of whom had a very serious knee issue that the Chiefs just decided to move on from. Where I also would challenge is, I think that Brett Veach has shown you that he's willing to pay his guys who he's drafted. Like, if we go through draft picks from Veach, and I ask you just a very simple keep or drop. We don't even got to get really in depth. Keep or drop. I think all the guys that you would argue keep, they've kept in long-term deals. We all applauded this organization for how they drafted in 2021. They had 6 draft picks. They drafted Nick Bolton, Creed Humphrey, Joshua Kando, Noah Gray, Cornell Powell, and Trey Smith. Out of the 6 players that they drafted, 4 of them they've reached long-term deals. I would say that 3 of them are not at what you would consider premier positions. Bolton doesn't play a premier position. Trey Smith doesn't. You can argue Creed Humphrey does from center, but they paid those guys. Noah Gray's contract a little bit different. It's not market resetting. It's not break the bank. He's a really good number 2 tight end. You're happy to pay Noah Gray that deal. We've now gotten to 2022, and there's 2 guys at the top of the list in which we are having the conversation about paying. I think the George Karlaftis deal is just an easier deal to make, is because he was willing to take 80% of what he probably should get. Now, some of that is he hasn't had that big season yet. I know you guys don't value Pro Bowls. He's never been to the Pro Bowl, never been an all-pro guy, only has 1 year of double-digit sacks. No one considers George Karlaftis to be a top-flight DN pass rush kind of guy. He can be. He can develop into it. He's now turned to 24 years old. You believe that his trajectory and his path, he is going to turn the corner, but no one considers that right now. And if Karlaftis isn't willing to bet on himself, which you have to just assume based on this, you could have waited a year. You could have got more money if you had gone out and had a big year. I don't know if we have enough evidence to say that the Chiefs will or won't pay Trent McDuffie yet. Maybe I'm making excuses. Maybe I'm being an apologist, but they've quite literally paid everybody else that he's drafted, other than one player, Snead. It's the only one that they walked away from. Everybody else, when it was time to get a second deal done, they got a second deal done. When Mike Dana needed a second deal, they got it done. When Bolton needed a second deal, they got it done. I'm now just not really sure. If I'm being honest, this might be the best player that he's drafted is Trent McDuffie. I'm just not certain that they're walking away from that, just given how they've handled almost every other player that's been in this exact same situation.
By pure accident right there, you made my point for me. Trent McDuffie is the best player that Brett Veach has drafted. Period. Full stop. No one has, and that's not an insult to the other players. He's drafted lots of good players. Creed Humphrey's good. I know I disagree about paying Nick Bolton, but Nick Bolton's a good football player. Trey Smith, again, we disagree about the payment. Trey Smith's a good football player. Isaiah Pacheco, we can go through the list. Brett Veach has drafted a lot of good players on this Chiefs roster. Trent McDuffie is the best player he's drafted. So it would surprise me, not because of his position, not because of precedent, not because of anything. If Brett Veach at, was it pick 23 or whatever, Bink probably knows the exact number, doesn't matter. At whatever pick, drafted a star at corner, was getting star production out of him, and then just walked away or traded him, that would surprise me. Trent McDuffie is the crown jewel of Brett Veach's draft class. You don't walk away from that because of a L'Jarius Sneed precedent. Also, Trent McDuffie, and I feel like these conversations always end in the same spot, it becomes a Sneed versus McDuffie conversation. Those two are not close to me. McDuffie is a better corner than L'Jarius Sneed. Some of that is health. Some of that's just pure talent. McDuffie is better than Sneed. What you want in the draft is to find a star in the 20-somethings, and Brett Veach did it. I don't understand why people are looking forward to walking on that.
Another thing, too, I guess the second point I was going to make is, and I understand this argument. Let me go back and find it. The argument essentially was that the Chiefs draft really well at corner, and that's why they will walk on the player, right? Like that's the philosophy. The Chiefs are really good at finding corners. They have a corner. Why move on from the player? Couldn't we make that same argument for linebacker and interior offensive line? Like, I could make the same argument, right? Why pay Trey Smith if you've shown that you draft really well at interior offensive line? This is the same organization that found Nick Allegretti, right? This is the same organization that found Creed Humphrey. This is the same organization that found Trey Smith. I mean, when the Chiefs have shown me that they're willing to invest in offensive line and finding that player, for the most part, they found that player. I mean, Kingsley Suamataia, I mean, he's going to start for them at left guard. Now, we'll see if he's good. We'll see if it works. But, I mean, they drafted an offensive lineman that they at first thought he could start day one at left tackle. They now think that he can start at left guard. They also found Josh Simmons. A lot of you were very hopeful and optimistic. Like, they've shown they can draft offensive linemen. Obviously, we'll see how those players end up working out. At linebacker, I've also think that they've done a pretty good job. I mean, they drafted Leo Chenal. They went out and they found Drew Tranquil and got him for a nothing kind of contract. So I just think we are reaching the point where one of the reasons that the Chiefs are so successful is they've drafted really well at so many different spots. I guess you could argue maybe other than running back at this point, and you probably would argue that because of how good Isaiah Pacheco has been with where you selected him. I don't know if you can really find a place maybe other than tackle. They haven't drafted great at tackle, but that's also one of the hardest positions to draft, especially with where the Chiefs select. You're just not finding a lot of starting caliber tackles in the back half of rounds. That's usually not how it works. They've just had a good track record at drafting just about every position. That's how you become a dynasty.
I would argue the only position they don't have that track record is tackle. I mean, I guess maybe you can argue DN, but that's neither here nor there. Like, I also think just because you're good at drafting corner, not all corners are created equal. Like, Jalen Watson is a win in the draft, but that doesn't mean that every 7th round pick turns into Trent McDuffie. You would have a parade if Jalen Watson was your 7th round pick every year. He's a nickel corner. He's a win. Najee Johnson, he's a guy who in a pinch can play corner, can help at special teams. Just because you have had successes with those guys in the 7th round does not mean that you've found a talent equal to Trent McDuffie. And how much of the narrative of they're good at drafting corners is buoyed by the fact they found an all-pro at corner in the draft. And Trent McDuffie, like, I feel like 6 months ago, Trent McDuffie, everyone was mad. How did he not make first team All-Pro? How'd this happen? This is appalling. And now it's time to talk about paying him, and everyone's like, whoa, settle down. It can't be both.
Yeah, and just this, if I'm on the side of paying Trent McDuffie, and that's the unpopular side, I'm more than happy to be on that side. The guy replied and said, CDOT, you're acting like the recent contracts with Bolton and Smith don't make it much more difficult to sign McDuffie. If he's the priority that you make, then the player is ready. I can't speak for anyone else. If the Chiefs walk on their best under 30-year-old defensive player because they decided to pay a linebacker and a right guard, I will be upset. Maybe this is just being the Chiefs are on opposite sides of this, and they will end up being right, and I will end up being wrong. But if you were telling me that they couldn't keep their best corner because they had to pay Nick Bolton, that is not a move that will make sense to me. It's not close to a move. I also just think you can get this deal done. I think it is maybe a little bit harder to do because we are getting to the point where to pay the highest paid corner, it's getting up there a little bit. They didn't pay George Karlaftis like the top pass rusher. Like text came in here that said the cornerback market has hit its price level. The DN price is still in flux. When Hutchinson and Parsons get paid, then Karlaftis would definitely go up. I don't think that the George Karlaftis is in the conversation of those guys. Like, no disrespect to George Karlaftis. I mean, I think Micah Parsons is one of the 5 best defensive players in the National Football League. I think Aiden Hutchinson was going to be in the conversation to win Defensive Rookie or Player of the Year last year, but broke his leg very early on in the season. I just don't think Karlaftis is at that level. I think Karlaftis is paid like the kind of player that I think he is. I think that he is a number 2 level pass rusher. I think that's what he is. I think he's a number 2 pass rusher, and that guy gets paid handsomely. We just saw it with George Karlaftis. What I like about this deal is it's the flexibility that I think it provides both sides. It gives Karlaftis a little bit of money up front. He gets paid handsomely, I would say, up front. It also gives him the opportunity at 27, 28 years old, if you do take that next jump and you're viewed as one of the better pass rushers in the league, then it will be an obvious room for, hey, we need to look at this again. We need to renegotiate this thing. Trust me, if George Karlaftis takes a jump and he becomes Aiden Hutchinson, what I think he is, or Micah Parsons, what he is, he ain't making $22 million at 27 years old. That's just not the way the NFL works. It will be obvious that his contract needs to be reworked. So I think this deal honestly ends up working up for both sides. It gives Karlaftis a lot of upfront money as he's playing on a rookie deal. The Chiefs still get the benefit of having him on the rookie deal and don't really have to deal with his contract until the 3rd year when you're obviously not releasing the player. And if you're Karlaftis, it gives you a little bit of short-term security and also still kind of dangles the carrot in front of you that if you continue to stay healthy and be productive, there is more money that is coming down the line. That's why I think this contract works.
I think another reason this contract works, and this ties into the McDuffie conversation, is as much as I am first-team All-American, get a deal done early, by getting a deal done early, you know what they've done, the Chiefs, timeline-wise? They've given themselves 3 years to get a McDuffie deal done. Like, that's another way to look at this if you were a Chiefs fan. I understand that McDuffie and Karlaftis are in the same draft class, and fans are going to jump out and be like, they just signed Karlaftis, let's get McDuffie done. McDuffie's played 3 years in the league. He has a 4th year. I cannot imagine there's a scenario where the Chiefs don't pick up his 5th-year option. And much like you just saw with Trey Smith, they can tag Trent McDuffie. So that means there are 3 more years left. Like, I'm pro, get a deal done early. But by getting the Karlaftis deal done early, they've bought themselves time to get the McDuffie deal done late. Kind of like, we look at contracts as these, long-term investments, and they are. But in the next 3 years, what happens to the Chiefs, books? Jawan Taylor's going to fall off. I'm betting Chris Jones falls off. I'm betting Travis Kelce falls off the books. Like, I think Karlaftis done early is good for all those reasons you said. And also, it extends the window to get McDuffie done. They can do it this offseason, next offseason, or they can tag him and do it the offseason after that. So I'm get McDuffie done now guy, but I think Karlaftis deal gives them a larger window to get McDuffie done.
Looking at last year in the NFL, there were 17 players that got double-digit sacks last year. If I set the over-under on George Karlaftis sacks for this season at 10.5, would you take the over or the under? Because if he had gotten 11 sacks last year, that would have put him in the top 10. There were 10 players in the league that got 11 or more sacks. If I give you right now 10.5, that means if he hits his over on 10.5, that would be a career high for George Karlaftis. Would you take the over or the under right now on sacks?
I think I would take the over, but I think you're going to be sweating it to the end. I think 10.5, 11 is kind of his ceiling. Maybe he has a big year with 12, but I would take the over because, and we talked about it last year during the season, the advanced analytics and the metrics and all the PFF types pointed out Karlaftis got better last year once Amenahu returned. Now, Amenahu wasn't producing, but Amenahu's return improved Karlaftis' production.
He was a
different player.
He was a drastically different player the second half of the season when Amenahu got back. He was drastically different.
You can't predict health. Maybe Amenahu gets hurt again. You never know. You never know. But if Amenahu's out there, I'm going to assume the second half guy is the real guy. So I would take the over on 10.5. But I don't think he's a 13, 14 guy. I think he's like an 11, 11.5 guy.
Yeah, I mean, I think just looking at the guys that got 10 sacks last year, these are a majority of guys that I would say football fans know. Like, once you get to be a double-digit sack guy and you're pretty consistently a double-digit sack guy, you're just kind of a name that people know. It's Travion Walker, who was a number 1 overall pick. It's Will Anderson Jr. Last year. He got 11 sacks, plays for Houston. Leonard Williams on Seattle. It's mostly guys that you know. The Chiefs, I think, in this contract are pretty clearly telling you they think that's the next step. They expect George Karlaftis to be in this conversation where you're a guy that gets 10.5, 11 sacks a season. If you play with two guys that are going to take the pressure off of you, play with Chris Jones, the best player in the league at his position, and you play opposite Charles Amenahu, who I think does provide you pass rush juice. You got Mike Dana. I mean, the expectation now with George Karlaftis is to be a double-digit sack guy and to potentially take the jump and to be considered one of those guys, to kind of be a household name, to be a player that people know about, to be a player that people have to game plan towards. I think he was that towards the end of the season. I think you just want to see that more consistently and see if he can take that leap. The Chiefs obviously feel like he's going to take that leap.
I think, for me, the best way I look at this contract, and this ties in with this conversation, is I view George Karlaftis as a good, for an analogy, wide receiver number 2. I don't think he's that dog. I don't think he's 1-1. But if you got another good pass rusher and him on your line, you are happy with your line. And the Chiefs, as it currently sits, have Chris Jones, who might go into Canton one day, and George Karlaftis. So I think this is a good contract for a good player, and I think he could become a little bit of a household name, but I think that is born out of the fact that there's more attention paid to wide receiver 1. I do worry about what happens if the Chiefs move on from Chris Jones in a couple of years and George Karlaftis is the focal point of the pass rush. I don't know. He can do that. But if you view him as like a wide receiver 2, I think that's the perfect way to look at this. Then he is a good player on a good contract. And to make it equivalent, you'll understand, I think he's T. Higgins. I think he's a really good wide receiver 2, but if that's your number 1 wideout, you're probably looking for better.
Yeah, but I guess I also think in this, I think that T. Higgins is like a very unique situation. But I think you made the point earlier about Greg Rousseau. If you look at Greg Rousseau's start to his career and you look at George Karlaftis, they're actually pretty comparable. Like, some of these things, they just cost. Like, you and I talk a lot about positional value and that we would spend money for this things and we wouldn't spend money for those things. And one thing I'm willing to spend money on is pass rush. Like, it costs money. You either have to draft it like the Chiefs did. You find George Karlaftis, you draft it, you develop it, you cultivate it, and now you want to pay that player and have him continue to do it. But the same way at left tackle. Man, you're not improving at left tackle and also doing it cheap. If you want to get proven left tackle play, you either A, have to find it, or B, you got to overpay for Dan Moore, for example, like Tennessee did. Man, Greg Rousseau is 25 years old. He's 25 years old. So if you got a pass rusher that has shown you that he can get 8 sacks or so, you're not dipping back into the draft to find that guy. You pay that guy. You hope that there's another ceiling. You hope that Russo can go from being an 8-sack guy like George Karlaftis was to being a 10.5, 11-sack guy, and that you have a true impact, game-changing player. That obviously is the gamble that the Chiefs are willing to take when it comes to George Karlaftis. They think that there's another level. They think that there's another step. Let's continue to talk about Trent McDuffie. We'll do more of that coming up on the other side. The Chiefs had 2 first-round picks back in 2021. One has already been paid, or 2022, excuse me. George Karlaftis has already been paid, and we're waiting to see if they're going to do the same for Trent McDuffie. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison. Catch Hall of Famer Denny Matthews every Monday at 3.
And gone, Bobby Witt.
On your home for Royals baseball, 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Divorce is never easy, but selling a home during this challenging time doesn't have to add to the stress. When you work with the Sharp Homes team, they'll help you make a seamless transition. And the Sharp Homes team can give you options. Do you want to skip the showings and open houses and go straight to sold? Contact them to discuss their instant offer program. In fact, contact the only agent I would trust if I needed to sell my home. It's Dawn Sharp with the Sharp Homes team, brokered by Epic Realty. Just Google Sharp Homes team. It's Dawn Sharp and the Sharp Homes team.
Hi, Zoe Saldana. Welcome to T-Mobile. Here's your new iPhone 16 Pro on us.
Thanks. And here's my old phone to trade in.
You don't need a trade-in. When you switch to T-Mobile, we'll give you a new iPhone 16 Pro. Plus, we'll help you pay off your old phone up to $800, and you still get to keep it.
There's always a trade-in.
Not right now at T-Mobile.
I feel like I have to give you something in return for karma.
That's okay.
I don't really have much in my purse. Oh, let's see. Hand sanitizer. It's lavender.
I'm good. Seriously.
Let me check this pocket. Oh, mints?
Really, I'm fine.
Oh, I have raisins. I'm a mom. Wait 1 sec. I've got cupcakes in the car.
It's our best iPhone offer ever. Switch to T-Mobile. Get a new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on us. No trade-in needed. We'll even pay off your phone up to $800.
With 24 monthly bill credits, new line $100 plus a month on experience beyond finance agreement $999.99 and qualifying forwarded. For well qualified plus tax and $10 connection charge. Pay off via virtual prepaid card below 15 days. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. See T-Mobile.com.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone. I went through it a while back. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text. Text BEACH to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text BEACH to 42424. That's BEACH to 42424.
Products and statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or illness.
BetMGM is making your next golf tournament winner bets more exciting with Second Chance. What's Second Chance? Ever bet on your favorite golfer to win a tournament only to see them miss the green? Well, with BetMGM's Second Chance promotion, you'll get your stake back in cash if your tournament winner bet finishes in second instead. That's right. Simply bet on any player to win a scheduled golf tournament during a promotional week. If you're right, you win. But if your pick finishes in second instead of first, you get your stake back in cash. Watch your favorite players go for the win all season long and bet knowing you'll get your stake back if they finish second. Log in today and make your picks with confidence with BetMGM. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards paid back in unrestricted withdrawable funds. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
I love Hy-Vee, and I love the fact that they're always finding new ways to save me money, like lower prices in every department. And on top of that, I save so much money at the pump with Hy-Vee's awesome fuel saver deals. Monday, July 21st, earn a 40-cent discount per gallon with every $60 in groceries you purchase. So you can stock up for the summertime fun and stack up all of those fuel savings. Seeing that number roll back at the pump is so much fun, and saving money's even better. And you can do it with gas and groceries only at Hy-Vee.
If you love finding the deal and a bargain brings you bliss, the Hy-Vee 5-day sidewalk sale is cause for celebration. This Wednesday through Sunday, stock up and save big on dozens of pantry staples, like Roma pizzas, 4 for $10, Pepsi 24 packs, $9.99, Frito-Lay's chips, just $1.99, Gatorade 8-pack bottles, just $5.99, and Sunbelt granola bars, 4 for $10. Hurry to the huge 5-day sidewalk sale this week, only at Hy-Vee.
Ring the bell! We've done it again! Golden Oak Lending has lowered rates to 4.875 fixed. Lower your monthly payment, get cash out, pay off credit cards, and best of all, make no mortgage payments for 2 months. Lock in this incredible 4.875 rate and get your cash in as little as 14 days. Call 913-890-GOLD.
Golden Oak Lending cured my blues.
5.81 APR, FHA, 15-year, 20% equity qualified credit. Additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
Chiefs coverage brought to you by Park & Go, the best deals on airport parking.
Ready for a summer getaway? Start it off right with Park & Go, KC's premier airport parking destination. Open 24/7 with all covered spots to beat the summer heat. Reserve your spot now at bookparkandgo.com. Park & Go, the best deal on airport parking.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
A crash northbound 35 before Highway 69 slows you way down through Overland Park, and northbound 75 stalls out again after the Southwest Traffic Way and remains sluggish up to 670. I'm Bill Brooks, 96.5, The Fan Traffic.
Welcome to your home for Royals baseball. 96.5, The Fan.
Welcome back into the show. My name is Carrington Harrison. Happy to be here. Rob is here as well. We are taking you up until 6 o'clock today. The Royals, they are in Chicago taking on the Cubs. They are at Wrigley Field. We had Mike Giannetti on the show earlier. He is with Spotrak. We asked him if he's surprised that the Chiefs got a deal done with George Karlaftis before they got a deal done with Trent McDuffie.
I'm only surprised because of what we're talking about with this cornerback situation, where it seemed like the momentum kept building every single time a new one was there, right? There were 5 or 6 candidates this offseason, so you knew the price was going to continue to jump, and that certainly hasn't been the case with the edge rusher situation, especially the rookie extension version of the edge rusher. Obviously, we've got some older players seeking major contracts right now, but yeah, I'm a little surprised that McDuffie wasn't one of the priorities, just to sort of get ahead of that train, that locomotive that's been pushing through all summer. But at the end of the day, I think the numbers are going to speak for themselves, and getting both these guys done right around the camp here was probably always the precedent for that front office.
Last cut I want to play for you guys. I asked Mike Giannetti if the Chiefs could possibly move on from Trent McDuffie, very similar to what they did with L'Jarius Sneed.
They've certainly done it in the past 3-4 times here, and it's been kind of eye-popping every time. I don't think so. I will say this. If nothing gets done this summer, that is the conversation to start having, right? Because then the agent's probably starting to push for a situation where it's time to get paid. We don't want to play more football without getting paid. And that's when these trade discussions really start to take to the surface. So if they fail in getting this thing done over the course of the next 6 weeks, absolutely that becomes a surface conversation to start the 2025 season.
We can't play the hindsight is 2020 game, so I completely get that. One thing that I guess is a little confusing to me, just based on how they handled the George Karlaftis deal, is if they have the stance of protect Patrick Mahomes at all costs, and they've shown that they were willing to do a deal early with Creed Humphrey, and they got him taken care of, and we don't need to discuss that, I'm a little surprised that either A, they didn't reach a deal with Trey Smith sooner, and then essentially they gave their right guard leverage when they then used the franchise tag, because that then became the floor. Once they put the franchise tag on Trey Smith and he was going to make $23 million this year, there was no world in which he was then going to agree to make less than that for the season. So, Rob, I am a little curious for an organization that has clearly shown you if you are really important, will get your deal done early. They did that with Creed Humphrey. We just saw them do that with George Karlaftis. I mean, the conversation about getting this done early, I mean, there's like, I guess, different ways of looking at it. There's an extreme of the Cowboys that wait until the last minute to get a deal done. Then there's the Eagles that I think kind of manipulate the cap in a way to try to fit everybody and make things work. The Chiefs, I think, are somewhere in the middle when it comes to that sphere. But I am surprised that if they prioritize offensive line the way that they do, I'm surprised that they didn't maybe reach a deal a little bit sooner with Trey Smith to kind of keep that number down a little bit. That could possibly free up a little bit of money because you've clearly shown that you're willing to do a deal early for players that you really value.
Yeah, you're right about hindsight's 2020, and we can't go back and we can't undo the thing. I just wonder if as they saw other cornerback contracts start to filter in, they looked at their books and their cap situation and, their, accounting and thought, we will give McDuffie that deal. We just can't give it to him now. And I wonder if that's when they shifted from where the Jets and the Texans and the Broncos and all these other teams were prioritizing cornerback one. They thought to themselves, we can prioritize cornerback one. We just can't do it now. So who's more likely to sign a team-friendly deal? George Karlaftis signed a more team-friendly deal than I think Trent McDuffie is going to get. I wonder if they were actually very forward-thinking by saying, hey, we're going to now run the clock out on the McDuffie deal by getting Karlaftis done now, so you're not going into an offseason where you have to take care of both. Like, that's the through rose-colored glasses for the Chiefs, but it does concern me the fact that Karlaftis, a player who is just not as good as Trent McDuffie, it's no knock to him, that's a compliment to McDuffie, got done before McDuffie. It's hard to not feel a little bit of a way about that as a Chiefs fan today.
Someone says the Chiefs have two signings next year, Trent McDuffie and Rashee Rice. There's very, very little scenarios in which I would pay Rashee Rice at the end of the season. Like, I'm trying to think of what would make me pay Rashee Rice at the end of this year. He is coming off a significant knee injury. He also has a suspension hanging over his head. What kind of year would Rice need to put together for me to, he's had one strong season. It was a good season. I don't make it sound like it was like the best rookie season we've seen. He had a good rookie season. He missed all of his second year. We believe he is going to be suspended for his third year and coming off a knee injury. He needs to have an Odell Beckham 12-game stretch for me to want to pay him at the end of the season. He's just not a player I would be in a rush to go pay at the end of this season.
Look, the text line is full all day with, look, the Chiefs don't pay corner. They don't pay corner. They don't pay corner. Do you know a position I know they don't pay? They haven't paid wide receiver since Tyreek Hill. And the first Tyreek Hill contract they got done, we can all acknowledge.
That was also that was in the face of him getting in trouble.
Correct. There was some stuff, some outside influences on that. Since then, when it's time to like just dole out cash to wide receiver, they have walked every time. I'm with you. I also think the Chiefs are with you. They don't seem to pay wide receiver ever.
Yeah, and I guess now, I mean, like I said, I think everything is a case-by-case basis. That's why I don't want to play the hindsight is 2020 game, because I think they get some things right. I think they get some things wrong. I think it's kind of obvious that they mishandled the Chris Jones situation. Like, they mishandled it was bad for both sides. He missed time. It was not well negotiated on both sides. I do think, I mean, in terms of getting a deal done and how you executed this, I think you executed this pretty right when it came to George Karlaftis. It's kind of hard to be mad at the money. It's a 6-year, $100 million deal that averages out to be $17.5 million. You got to pay him up front, but that's almost every contract in the National Football League, but you get flexibility on it. Like, this is a really, really smart deal on both sides when kind of looking at the contract. And now I think we're all just waiting to see what happens with McDuffie. I think the McDuffie contract is one of the easier ones to do in the entire National Football League at this point. It honestly is. We all know how these things work. I think I'm the best young corner in the NFL. This is what cornerback makes. Give me X% more than that person. I'll sign the contract. Like, his is pretty straightforward. I'm not saying he's that caliber on the other side, but you'll follow the argument. It's kind of like whenever Justin Jefferson got paid for the Vikings, and we all knew whenever Jamar Chase was going to get paid, we knew then what the contract structure was going to look like. That's what I think the Trent McDuffie conversation is. You look at what Sauce got. You look at what Patrick Surtain got. You can go on Spotrak right now and see what the highest paid corner is. I think I'm one of those guys. I'm a 2-time All-Pro. I've played in Super Bowls. I've made big plays in the Super Bowl. I want X. I want 4 for this amount, and we can get the deal done right now. And the Chiefs are negotiating and going back and forth. And I'm just not convinced they're walking away from Trent McDuffie. I'm not at that point. He's a 24-year-old, been healthy, all-pro corner. That's just not a player that I'm, letting hit free agency. Like, just really good corners don't just hit free agency. I also just don't believe that there's a reason we should be talking about them trading him at this point in his career. I don't think there's a reason to have that conversation yet. I think they're still negotiating and seeing if they're going to get a deal done, and they still got time to get a deal done. I just think Karlaftis cut the line because Karlaftis didn't get his full value. He was willing to sign a little bit earlier and take 80% potentially of what he was going to make. If Karlaftis had decided to not hold out, but just withdraw and not sign a deal and go out there and get 14 sacks next season, yeah, he would have put himself in a very different financial situation. He chose not to. He got $63 million guaranteed. Hard to say that he made the wrong decision, but I would say McDuffie has kind of gone the other route. He's kind of let everybody else get paid, and now on the back end, I want to be the one that potentially gets paid. We can keep talking about this coming up at the top of the hour. The Chiefs give George Karlaftis a massive contract extension that I think is going to work out for both sides. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
A crash northbound 35 before Highway 69 slows you way down through Overland Park, and northbound 75 stalls out again after the Southwest Traffic Way and remains sluggish up to 670. I'm Bill Brooks, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
At CertaPro Painters, we know that a happy place comes in many colors, like ones that inspire a sense of wonder, or a new flavor that makes life just a little bit sweeter, or one to celebrate those moments that lift you to new heights. With thousands of 5-star reviews, you can trust us to bring happiness home. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone. I went through it a while back. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text. Text BEACH to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text BEACH to 42424. That's BEACH to 42424.
Products and statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or illness.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
Chiefs coverage brought to you by Metal by the Foot, your metal project superstore.
Where can you find an extensive line of Blue Demon welding supplies, filler, rods, and wire? Metal by the Foot, located in Casey and Topeka. Online at metalbythefoot.com. When you need a piece of metal, remember, metal doesn't have to cost an arm or a leg, just the foot.
There is only one National Summer Arms Show, and it returns to Kansas City this weekend only. Bigger than ever. Buy, sell, and trade with freedom lovers from coast to coast and border to border. All gathering at the KCI Expo Center for one incredible weekend. Discover vintage rifles and handguns, modern arms, and collectible militaria. From Civil War artifacts to today's tactical gear, there's something for everyone. Stock up on ammo, brass, reloading gear, and military surplus. Explore blades from everyday carry to high-end collectibles. Visit the Colt collectors, the high standard collectors, and the returning Marlin firearms collectors. There's no buyer's premium, just $15 a day or $20 for a weekend pass. Kids 15 and under are free with an adult admission. The 54th Annual National Summer Arms Show, this Saturday, July 26th from 9 to 5 and Sunday 9 to 3. It's the Midwest's highest caliber event and the 5th largest arms show in America. Details online at nationalsummerarmshow.com. That's nationalsummerarmshow.com.
If Old Spice Deep Sea Super Hydration Body Wash were music, what would it sound like? Start with the deep sounds of Old Spice's ocean waves and kelp. Layer on the smooth, renewing moisture. You wouldn't hear any parabens or phthalates because Old Spice Deep Sea hasn't got any. But you would hear that vitamin B3 for healthier looking skin. So while your regular body wash sounds like this, Old Spice sounds like this. Sounds like it smells amazing.
Find what you love and love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you.
With the lowest prices for over 30 years, find what you love only at Total Wine and More. Drink responsibly, B21.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. Ahoy, mateys! Set your course for Harris, Kansas City on Saturday, July 26th, where over $100,000 in prizes are waiting at our treasure chest drawing. One lucky winner will take home $50,000 in cold, hard cash. And every 15 minutes, you could snatch up to $2,500 in free play. Plus, earn 5-time extra entries every Saturday night through July 26th to boost your odds of striking gold. It's the summer's hottest treasure hunt, only at Harris, Kansas City. Yo-ho-ho!
21 or older to gamble. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Brought to you by America's largest pickleball festival, PickleCon. Are you a pickleball newbie, club player, hardcore competitor? PickleCon is for you. 4 days of nonstop play, pro tips, and even a puppy yoga break. Join the fun. PickleCon.com.
Have you watched Die Royal Decree? How about Chiefs Take Tuesday? Or would you rather Wednesday? Follow us on Instagram at TheFan965 for exclusive video content, giveaways, and behind-the-scenes action. 96.5 The Fan, KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, in Odyssey Sports Station.
Rob, you know what? And every viewer entitled to feel this way. I get it. I think I'm starting to kind of realize what it is with McDuffie and maybe where the disconnect is, I think, with me, with other people. Someone on the text line said, C-Dot, year one, McDuffie without Snead, he declined. I think there is a big enough group of people. I don't know what the percentage is. I think there is a big enough group of you that think that L'Jarius Sneed is a better corner than Trent McDuffie with, I mean this in all seriousness, with no evidence of that. I always think it's kind of funny when people are like real selective on when they use Pro Football Focus. Like for some guys, Pro Football Focus is the end all be all. And then with other players, we just completely disregard what Pro Football Focus says about them. If you are somebody that believes in Pro Football Focus, last year there were 222 corners that were graded by the website. Rob, where do you think Trent McDuffie was? Out of 222 corners last year in the entire National Football League, where do you think Trent McDuffie graded?
3?
He was third. He was 3rd against the run last year. He was 18th against the pass. He was in 7th. In coverage, he was 9th. Since entering the NFL in his 4 years, he has been, according to their metrics, the 4th best corner in the National Football League during this stretch. We are not talking about a good player. We are talking about a great player. I believe that Trent McDuffie is the 2nd best player on their team. I think Chris Jones is great. If you were telling me that I had to choose between the two, I would take the 25-year-old all-pro corner over the 32-year-old all-pro defensive tackle at this stage in their career. The Chiefs obviously have a lot of other good players on their team. That's how they keep going to championships. I think Patrick Mahomes is pretty clearly the best player on their team. I think McDuffie is the 2nd best player on their team. So some of the conversations that we're having, all a matter of perspective, and that's the beautiful thing about sports is that we can agree and disagree, and we all value players differently. But by every single metric in which we are evaluating who's a good player at their position, Trent McDuffie has excelled at that. At what I would then also argue is either the 2nd or 3rd most important position on the field. It's a passing league, and he's shown you that he's one of the best cover corners in the league. So the Trent McDuffie conversation, to me, I'm shocked that it appears to be as polarizing and as split as it should be for a player like this. This is not a player to me that should be one that we should be debating. This is a no-brainer. You're one of the best players at this position. You make our defense go. You're one of the key pieces on our defense. We want to keep you. But I genuinely do think a lot of it is just I think a lot of people think that Snead is better than he is, which the evidence part to me, again, I made this point last week. I'll make it again. Snead was available to every team in the National Football League, and the Chiefs got a future 3rd-round pick for him. Tomorrow, if the Chiefs wanted to trade Trent McDuffie, what do you think they would get back in return? Tomorrow, if the Chiefs said, we do not plan on re-signing Trent McDuffie, he is available to any team in the league, we'll trade him to you. I guarantee you they get more than what they got for Snead. I also guarantee you he gets more in free agency than Snead got. So I don't know what basis I don't know what we're using it on. I don't know how we are evaluating the two between the two, other than I can use the Pro Football Focus numbers and also what they've accomplished in the league, which one player has been named to the All-Pro team 2 times in the 3 years that he's been in the league. The other player has never been named to All-Pro. Never. Not one time. The same people watching the same Chiefs games as me and you think that Trent McDuffie is a better corner than L'Jarius Snead was.
I don't know how. I don't know. I'm like flabbergasted. L'Jarius Snead's a good corner. He is. I always feel like in these I have to pit them against each other when I do think that Snead is I think Snead is a good player. I really do think Snead is a good player. And that's my point. I don't want to pit him against each other either. And I think Snead's a good player too. I don't think they're in the same sphere. I think this is like saying Patrick Mahomes is I use a different quarterback. That's unfair. That's like saying, man, Josh Allen's really good. Do you know who else is good? Bo Nix. Yeah, what is better than the other? That doesn't mean the other player's bad or the other player stinks. It just means there's one that's clearly better. McDuffie is better than L'Jarius Snead.
Now, better than a lot of other. Yeah, the thing
there's
about
like 2 in the league I would take over him.
The Snead conversation to me is crazy. Someone just texted this in. Honest question, Carrington. If the Chiefs traded McDuffie instead of paying him tomorrow, are you not picking them to still contend for the Super Bowl in years to come? I don't really think that that's a fair argument because I could ask you that same question about Nick Bolton and they just paid him. Like, if the Chiefs had let Nick Bolton walk in free agency, do we feel any different about their defense heading into this season? Some of you don't even think Nick Bolton's the best linebacker on their defense. You don't think that. Do we think that Trey Smith is the difference in them winning or losing the Super Bowl? If they let Trey Smith walk in free agency and just drafted another player in the 2nd round of his position. So I don't know if we can use the argument of, well, if they got rid of Trent McDuffie, you still think they'd be good. That's the case for 52 other guys on the team other than Patrick Mahomes. Tomorrow, Travis Kelce could retire. This team's still winning their division if Travis Kelce's not there. So I just don't know if that's a fair argument to use against McDuffie about the overall team success. I don't know if you have an elite defense without Trent McDuffie, and they clearly have an elite defense. Like, scheme is great, and they have a fantastic scheme. You also need the horses, too. And I think a major reason of why their defense works the way that it works is because of players like Trent McDuffie on the back half that allows Spags to be really creative and do the things that he does, is you have one of the best young corners in the entire league on your team. Like, it's not a surprise over the last couple of years. Their defense has taken a step up. The Chiefs have arguably had one of the top 3 defenses in the league the last 2-3 years or so. It's not a coincidence. It's when they got one of the best corners in the league. And if we're making that point about Snead, they lost Snead for last year. Defense didn't really seem to be that affected by not having Snead on the team last year. It didn't seem to be that affected last year. They still finished top 5 in total defense last year. So some of it is obviously scheme. They have a phenomenal scheme. They have one of the best defensive coordinators in the history of the league at putting guys in the right position. But some of it is just they have high-level players, and they might not have a higher-level player than Trent McDuffie.
I mean, I said earlier in the show, he is the best player Brett Veach has drafted. And I agree with you. I think he's either second or third. I still think Chris Jones can turn it up to that level, but he is either the second or third best player on the roster right now. By the way, that's a roster that includes the best player in the NFL. So I truly don't understand why I also think, and I'm a person that was saying this in the past, and I still believe Brett Veach does a really good job at drafting corners. I think the idea that Brett Veach can replace Trent McDuffie with a guy at Duke right now is a little bit overblown. And I think fans are putting a little too much stock into that. Yes, Brett Veach has added a lot of good corners. He's added one elite corner in the draft, and his name is Trent McDuffie. Like that, his success at corner is buoyed by the All-Pro he drafted.
Yeah, like that part also has to factor in, like, I'm with you. It's kind of the chicken or the egg argument. Veach is really good at drafting corners. Yeah, because he drafted Trent McDuffie, the best one of those corners. Like, yeah, like we don't think we don't think that Veach is the best because he drafted Jalen Watson, who's a very good corner. We think that because you've hit on a couple big picks. You hit on Snead and you turned him into a guy who obviously ended up being very productive. You also moved up in the draft to get, in that year, the best corner that was available, and McDuffie has just had a fantastic year. I do want to talk about this when it comes to the George Karlaftis deal, and I was wrong in what I tweeted originally about the George Karlaftis deal and why the Chiefs were in a rush to kind of get this deal done. Once you see the finances on this deal, I think you see why this is a good deal for both sides. Now, I think this part is fair. I wouldn't have paid George Karlaftis right now if I was the Chiefs. Like, sometimes I think we confuse, like, early, like, there's different forms of early. This is the absolute earliest that you could pay George Karlaftis. I understand the logic behind paying him, but I just would have waited another year. Let's see if he puts together that big year, and I'm willing to pay the increase because I was willing to roll the dice. Show this high-level pass rusher, go get 11.5 sacks, and then we'll have this conversation at the end. I would have paid the corner first. The Chiefs went a different direction. That's perfectly fine. But if you look at the way that this contract is structured, so they keep the first 2 years of the rookie deal. So this is essentially a 6-year contract for $105 million. They give you an annual average of 17.5. Now, some of that is it's relatively cheap on this first year because he's still on his rookie deal. And then next year, the 5th-year option kicks in. Now you're getting real deep into the salary cap. But in terms of like new money and what this averages out to be, I mean, this isn't the worst contract in the world. So this is what the cap looks like. $5 million this year, $15 million for next year. He was going to make that anyway because of the 5th-year option that you already picked up. So he makes $20 million these next 2 seasons. That's a no-brainer. You'll pay him that. It then jumps to 23 in 2028. In 2029, it jumps to 25, and then it's $22 million in 2030. Even if George Karlaftis continues to be the exact same player that he is now, let's say that George Karlaftis doesn't take a jump. Sometimes we have this conversation about guys that take jumps. Some guys just don't take a jump. Some guys just end up being the same player that they've been. Even if that's what Karlaftis turns out to be, I still think you're very happy with this deal. You'll just never be in a situation where you feel like this weighs you down. I think there is a feeling now with the Jawaan Taylor deal that it weighs you down in a sense. He makes $23 million. He is the second highest paid player on the team for a player that tomorrow, I think if you asked most fans, you'd be perfectly fine to sit that player down and replace him with somebody else. So I would say in some ways, like that's a bad contract. It's an albatross that you just have to kind of work around for this year, and then you can move in a different direction. I don't really see a world in which you feel bad about having a 24, 25, 26-year-old defensive lineman that even if he only gets somewhere between 8 to 10 sacks a season, and he's still in that 20 to 15 range in terms of sacks for the year, and he never takes that jump, I'm just not sure if you're ever unhappy with that contract. So, yeah, you gave him a little bit of guaranteed money up front, but you got flexibility on the back end. You can trade out of this contract if you really want to at some point. Like, in 3 years, if it's not working with George Karlaftis, someone will take on this deal because he's a 27-year-old pass rusher, and if you want to move on, you can. This deal just gives, I think, both sides a lot of flexibility. It gives the Chiefs the flexibility because it's not really that much money when you're talking about what he actually is and what he does. And if you're George Karlaftis, and let's say in 2029, you become one of the 5 best pass rushers in the league, you are going to ask for an extension. You're going to try to get more than $25 million because by that point, you will be severely underpaid based on the other players that are at your position. So I really understand the logic for both sides and the wiggle room that exists for both of these deals. This is not a bad contract. This is a good contract. It's not a great contract. You're still paying him a little bit up front in hopes that he's going to take that jump, and we'll see if he takes the jump. And if you're George Karlaftis, you signed a little bit early and you didn't get every dollar that you could get. But this is a very, very fair deal for both sides. I see why both sides wanted to get this deal done. I also see why it got pushed to the front because both sides were willing to give a little bit. The Chiefs were willing to give some money up front, and they want flexibility on the back half. George was willing to not get 100% of his value and took 80 right now and chose not to roll the dice.
So I had some friends over the week when this broke texting me and talking to me, kind of the same thing that you had initially. I like the term sticker shock, but I got a lot of overpay. He'll never live up to that contract. And I think the number initially when the news broke this weekend had some Chiefs fans a little startled. But I think as we got more contract details, if you look at it through this lens, it actually is a very good deal. Former friend of the show, Albert Breer, pointed out that he is now under contract with 2 years of his rookie deal plus the 4-year extension. He's on the team through 2030. If you conclude all those years, he's making $17.5 million per year. You will take George Karlaftis' production the way he has produced so far in his career for $17.5 million. You hope he takes that step up, but if he has plateaued, $17.5 million for George Karlaftis at the position he plays is a win. I made this analogy earlier on the show. The way I view what the Chiefs did with George Karlaftis today is the same thing the Royals kind of did with Cole Reagans. They bought out his arbitration years, and they added some security on the back end and some money on the back end, but in reality, it's not some mega new extension. The Chiefs are going to pay him his rookie deal this year. They're going to pay him his 5th-year option the next year, and that's when the new money kicks in. So when you add all that together, it's $17.5 million. And if you polled Chiefs fans, you put a Twitter poll up and said, are you willing to pay George Karlaftis $17.5 million a year to be a pass rusher in the NFL, it would be overwhelmingly be said yes to. So I think much like a lot of NFL contracts, when you delve into the details of this one, you realize the value is actually good for both teams, and it's great for the team if George Karlaftis takes that step forward, because now $17.5 million for a 12-13 sack guy is a real win for the organization.
I want to play this cut for you guys. This is Mike Giannetti. I think the reason that this is important, why we're having this conversation, is I think the two contracts are tied. The Chiefs made 2 first-round selections in 2022. One of them has already gotten a new contract. The other one is waiting on a new contract. The Chiefs paid George Karlaftis as soon as you can pay him. It's the first offseason that you can pay him. At the end of their 3rd year is when you can renegotiate their deal. And you obviously have been working on this for a little bit. This didn't just come together in the last 3 days. You've been having this conversation the entire time. The Trent McDuffie, I think that his contract, it's just different. Number one, he is at the top of his market, where that is not where George Karlaftis is. George Karlaftis is not at the top of the DN market, where that is where Trent McDuffie is. McDuffie is also waiting on other guys to get paid because he wants to then come in and get more than those individuals. We were not talking about that with George Karlaftis. Now, sure, maybe the market goes up a little bit, but Micah Parsons signing a deal, Micah Parsons is going to be he's going to be the highest paid non-quarterback in the league. That's never what we were going to be talking about at this stage with George Karlaftis. So for McDuffie, his contract to me is very, very simple. hey, this is what the 4 highest paid corners in the league make. I want to make more than that. Let's get a deal done. If that's not the conversation of this deal, then we just aren't going to reach a negotiation. And it would seem, now if he doesn't reach a deal, let's see if he gets one before things get going. There's obviously still time to reach an agreement between both sides. McDuffie seems fine to want to roll the dice and see how this plays itself out. Because at this point, you're in a good position. You go out there and you're an all-pro again, and you're all-pro in 3 of your first 4 years. That money is coming from somebody. It's either coming from Kansas City or somebody else. Here's what Mike Ginnetti had to say about a Trent McDuffie extension.
He's absolutely in this conversation, if not deservedly near the top of this conversation. So if there's any inkling that this is going to look and smell like Sauce Gardner's deal, it's probably going even north of that because of the age, the production, the situation. The Jets certainly had to overpay a little bit to get those guys to sign the dotted lines over there. But generally speaking, the McDuffie deal is going to be around that $30 million per year. I would expect it to be a 4-year deal, just like Sauce got in New York, so 6 years total. And if you're doing the quick math on that, if we put a 3-year guarantee on that, that's around $90-95 million, which would be historic. But again, falls in line with the window of contention that we're dealing with Mahomes here. So I'd put it near 4 for 125-ish with 85 to 90 in guaranteed, and he'll be right there with this bunch. You're right. It's been an explosive offseason at this position and well-deserved.
This is where this is maybe my strongest point on why I think the Chiefs are going to pay McDuffie and why I think we're just arguing for nothing. I think the Chiefs have shown you that they pay all the guys in this category. Like, we can go through their draft class really quickly. Rob, in 2018, they drafted Speaks, Noddy, Dorian O'Daniel, Armani Watts, Traymon Smith, Khalil McKenzie. Is there any player in that conversation you would want to pay? Derek Noddy is the only player in that conversation you would want to pay. Have they kept Derek Noddy around? Yeah, they kept Derek Noddy around. In 2019, McCole Hardman, Juan Thornhill, Colin Saunders, Rashad Fenton, Darwin Thompson, Nick Allegretti. Not really talking about a player that would kind of break the bank. They kept McCole Hardman for around. Nick Allegretti has been around. Saunders had a chance to go get a deal from somewhere else. He took the money. In 2020, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Willie Gay Jr., Lucas Niang, Snead, Mike Dana, and Bo Keys. I remember people were really high on Bo Keys. I remember that. There's only, I guess, Snead was a big thing, but I think the Snead thing was much more of an injury thing than anything when you were talking. And one of the reasons I think you let Snead go is you had Trent McDuffie, so you could let him walk, and then you could kind of focus in on some other players. But Mike Dana, pass rusher, they've proven they really like Mike Dana. They paid Mike Dana a second contract, and they used up Snead's rookie contract and then traded him for more than what they had drafted him at. Now we reach the point of where we have seen that Brett Veach is willing to pay his guys. In 2021, Nick Bolton, Creed Humphrey, Joshua Kando, Noah Gray, Cornell Powell, Trey Smith. Nick Bolton, paid. Creed Humphrey, paid. Joshua Kando, couldn't really get on the field. Noah Gray, paid. Cornell Powell, couldn't get on the field. Trey Smith, paid. The Chiefs don't walk away from guys, I think, the way that people kind of perceive them to walk away from players. They really don't. Sure, they walked away from Tyreek Hill on his 3rd contract and in the middle of more firestorms. Just, hey, we're not doing this anymore. They didn't walk away from that 2nd contract with Tyreek Hill. Man, once Tyreek Hill got cleared by the NFL, they couldn't wait to get that deal done. You then go to where they are now. Now this is the next wave of players. These are the first time that you can reach a negotiation. Trent McDuffie, George Karlaftis, Sky Moore, Brian Cook, Leo Chenal, Joshua Williams, Darian Kennard, Jalen Watson, Pacheco, and Najee Johnson. There's only 2 players on here that we're having this conversation about right now you need to pay. Maybe Isaiah Pacheco's on the team next year. Let's see how this year plays out. Leo Chenal, be perfectly fine if he comes back and plays. But we're not talking about Chenal getting big-time money. Anybody, honestly, over the last 3 drafts, anybody other than Snead that can play, they've paid. Snead was really the only one that they walked away from. Everybody else that you thought was even on the fence, we didn't think that they were going to keep Bolton and Chris Jones and all these guys. They found a way to make Bolton work. So I guess I'm bringing that up is I think sometimes we say, oh, well, we know Veach does this. Well, I also know just based on the names that I just gave you in the list, Veach pays and rewards his own guys. This is his best draft pick, you could argue, is Trent McDuffie. Maybe you'd argue it's Creed Humphrey. It's definitely a close conversation on who you think it is. They fell over themselves to pay Creed Humphrey. The Trent McDuffie deal, it's, I think, a little bit more difficult because of the money we're talking. We're talking about $110, $115 million. That's just a deal that's going to take a little bit of time.
And I think that we talked about this earlier in the show, and your point is perfect. I feel like outside of, let's say Juan Thornhill might be the only guy where you're like, oh, he was a good player and the Chiefs didn't pay him. I guess maybe Willie Gay too. Outside of that, when Brett Veach has drafted a player and he has produced, Brett Veach has kept the player. Me and you sometimes disagree with Brett Veach on that. I would have Nick Bolton on some other roster right now. You would probably not be paying Trey Smith, who's paying right now. But just what Brett Veach has done, and it's good 10,000-foot view team building. Draft good players, pay the good players, keep the good players. It also keeps free agency bucks down. Like, we haven't had a news story in Kansas City in a couple years having them having multiple splash free agent signings because their splash moves are keeping their own. Their splash moves are building from within. And that's how you win. That's how you build a dynasty. That's how your dynasty has multiple phases and waves, kind of like the Patriots did. So when people say, well, there's a precedent they never pay corners, there's also a precedent they pay good players. And if Brett Veach drafts you and you are good, and not just like Willie Gay productive, but good, he is going to try to find a way to pay you. We thought Nick Bolton wouldn't happen. We thought Chris Jones might not happen. We thought Trey Smith that might not happen. There was talk that, oh, you can't get Karlaftis and McDuffie done. He's getting all these deals done. So I think the precedent beyond just corner is there. A good player gets paid by Brett Veach.
No, for sure. Do you know how many pass deflections Trent McDuffie had last year? Just take a guess.
I wouldn't even know what a normal number is. So 36?
13.
Okay.
Just for comparison, he had 7 back in 2003. Like, we're not talking about a good player. We're talking about he will be 25 years old in September. Like, we're talking about a player who you would think in theory has 4 really high-end years left. You probably want to be out of the corner market around 29, 30 for the most part. It's kind of really you want to walk away. I mean, buying up Trent McDuffie's 25, 26, 27, and 28, you could certainly make a lot worse moves than that. Coming up on the other side, there's a cool event that is happening in Kansas City later today. We'll tell you what it is. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for K-State Athletics, 96.5. The Fan, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Allstate's new home insurance is now better than ever. We're making getting the right home insurance that's right for you super easy with our improved online quoting tool. It explains how each coverage option works for you without the headache. Yep, you can start protecting your home in a matter of minutes. So check Allstate first for home insurance that's better than ever. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary. Coverage subject to terms, qualifications, and availability. Allstate North American Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
I went hands-free.
I went hands-free.
I went hands-free.
I went hands-free with Skechers Slip-ins.
Join the millions of people who are celebrating going hands-free with Skechers Slip-ins. Footwear you just step into and they're on.
It's crazy how something as simple as a pair of shoes have made my life better.
After trying Skechers Slip-ins, I want all my shoes to have this technology.
See what everybody can't stop talking about. Go hands-free with Skechers Slip-ins at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
Lowe's knows big savings make a big difference, especially when you're shopping for appliances. Hurry in to get up to 30% off select major appliances. Plus, My Lowe's Rewards members get free delivery, free haul away, free installation and parts on purchases of $2,500 or more. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 7/30. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Price, delivery time, and vehicle availability may vary based on order size and location. Exclusions apply. See Lowes.com/delivery for more details.
This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, where we've successfully treated thousands of men for low testosterone and helped them feel like their old selves again. Please take a moment and listen to how we help this patient.
Hi, my name is John, and I've been on ED and testosterone treatment at Heartland Men's Health for the past 15 months. I could tell, I was starting to go downhill. And my wife kept telling me, well, you need to go to a clinic that'll specialize in that. And that's what eventually led me into the men's clinic here. Treatment, in my opinion, is a miracle. I was able to perform to an elevated position that, quite honestly, I never thought I'd see again. For my fellow men out there, if you're feeling that you're not up to par, I encourage you, contact Heartland Men's Health, and you will see a dramatic difference.
Thank you. It's true. Your initial appointment includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
This summer, Casey's has 89-cent fountain and frozen drinks. But if you don't have 89 cents, you could check your center console, or dig between your couch cushions, or ask Grandma for $1, or just use your credit card. We take those too. 89-cent frozen and fountain drinks at Casey's all summer long. Restrictions may apply. See store for details.
Hey, folks. I've got a couple of important questions for you. Do you know how much money you need to retire? Do you have a plan in place for your loved ones? If your answer is no, it's time to get your financial planning on track with UMB Private Wealth. It's never too late to start. Plus, their team supports you at every step of the planning process. Go to umb.com/privatewealth to schedule your appointment. That's umb.com/privatewealth. Why not start today?
Call Aspen Lawn and Pest Control. Our iconic blue trucks and expert team get it right the first time. Award-winning full-service lawn care and pest control since 1985. Call today for a free estimate. Visit aspenlawn.com.
And Doug. Here we have the Limu Emu in its natural habitat, helping people customize their car insurance and save hundreds with Liberty Mutual. Fascinating. It's accompanied by his natural ally, Doug.
Limu, is that guy with the binoculars watching us?
Cut the camera. They see us.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Savings vary. Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Excludes Massachusetts.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love, guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
This report is brought to you by Surfside Iced Tea and Vodka and Surfside Lemonade and Vodka. Surfside Iced Tea and Vodka and Surfside Lemonade and Vodka. Proud partner of the Kansas City Royals. Each can of Surfside is only 100 calories and the best part, 0 bubbles. Grab it at the K or ask for it at your favorite bars and liquor stores.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
3 wrecks to worry about right now. Northbound I-435 after Highway 32 Caw Drive. Northbound 35 before Metcalf. Eastbound Shawnee Mission Parkway stacking it up well past Metcalf. I'm Bill Brooks, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
You're listening to The Drive with Carrington Harrison on 96.5 The Fan and the Odyssey app.
I want to get to the cool event coming up momentarily. This might be more important. I need you guys to tell me the truth. 913-586-7965. Happy Gilmore 2. How are we feeling going into this? It comes out later this week. I believe it comes out Friday. It comes out the 25th. How are you feeling heading into this? Because the first one, classic. Classic. Some of you have Happy Gilmore possibly as your favorite Adam Sandler movie. I wouldn't be mad at you if you have that. Mine's Waterboy, but if you got that, I love Big Daddy too. Either one, great.
Hold on. Waterboy is 1-1 among Sandler movies for you?
It honestly is probably between, like Waterboy for me, I don't think that's his best movie, but you know how like when you're a kid, there's like one movie that you just see a lot because you just really think that it's funny. That was kind of that movie for me with Waterboy. Waterboy is it's just a very funny movie to me.
You don't think it's his best, it's just your favorite.
Yeah, no, it's my personal favorite.
All right, I want to make sure I heard that right.
If I had to make a list, Big Daddy is probably my favorite Adam Sandler movie. I like that movie the most. So yeah, that would make it my favorite. Happy Gilmore is obviously up there. Are you worried at all about Happy Gilmore 2? Because usually, I've seen a lot of these kind of movies. They are promoting it like crazy. They got like a Subway deal. I'm watching a commercial. They got Shooter McGavin ordering footlongs. That's got me a little bit worried. And they just why is Bad Bunny in this movie? Like, this just feels, I don't know. This could go either way. I might sit down on Friday and be pleasantly surprised. Oh, this was good. Like, I didn't dislike the Coming to America sequel. Like, it's obviously not the original, but like, it was fine for what it was. Or this could be bad. This could be a stinker. How are you feeling going into Happy Gilmore 2?
I am legitimately terrified of this movie because I think, and I worry about movies like this too, when it's like the first one was a hit and now the second one shows up. It seems like it gets bloated with just super famous people and cameos.
Yeah, random cameos.
And I'm like, is it going to be funny because it's funny, or is it going to be funny because we have Travis Kelce as a waiter and Bad Bunny as a caddy? And
this has a lot of Anchorman 2 energy.
100%.
This has a lot of Anchorman 2 energy.
I saw that Eminem's going to be in it. Eminem's like playing the guy who yells "Jackass" his kid and is like messing with it. Eminem. Why is Marshall Mathers in this movie?
No, you're making this up.
You're
making this up. Eminem is in Happy Gilmore 2.
I promise you.
Oh, this movie's gonna be bad. This is gonna stink. You never know going into an Adam Sandler movie. You just gotta go in I love Adam Sandler, so I'm willing to give it a try. I wonder what made him do this after all of these years. I wonder what made him do this. Is he doing like I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry? Are they doing that like next year? We're gonna go back and do all of these movies?
I'm literally watching right now. There's a clip on the trailer of Eminem in this movie. Like,
I haven't. I've avoided the trailers.
Good.
You know me. I try to avoid it, especially if I plan on seeing it. Someone said complete nostalgia play. Someone needs the money. No, Adam has a crazy deal with Netflix. He ain't doing this for the money.
Has he put out a good one on Netflix?
Hustle.
Okay.
Hustle.
Let me rephrase that question. Has he put out a good comedy on Netflix?
I mean, that might be relative. I didn't mind that one with Jennifer Aniston. I didn't mind that movie. What was it like? I can't think of the name. Murder Mystery or whatever. Those weren't terrible.
I mean, if we're saying like it wasn't terrible and that's a win, like that.
But see, some of the Adam Sandler movies that you might dislike, I don't think Grown Ups is. I think Grown Ups is funny.
Grown Up 1's okay.
But I'm saying a lot of people hate Grown Ups though. Grown Ups is funny.
Grown Ups 2 though, terrible.
Okay.
Grown Ups, you know what Grown Ups 2 is? And I can't believe I've seen the movie to have a comment on the movie.
Happy Gilmore 2.
It's a bloated cameo-palooza. Taylor Lautner's in it. It's a lot.
Taylor Lautner was the first name that popped in your mind?
I mean,
I was just thinking of all the. Yeah, I just was thinking.
There's also Taylor Lautner at the peak of his powers.
Yeah, he didn't have those powers for very long.
Yeah, but at the time Grown Ups 2 came out, they existed.
Someone said Chuck and Larry's renewal 2027. No, for sure. That's what it's going to be. That's what it's going to be. Tonight, the KU alums, they are playing the K-State alums. Somehow, I don't ever understand this, and you guys always make fun of me for this. I like going to sporting events. Other than NFL games, like I don't really like going to NFL games, but I'm down to go to just about anything else. Like anything else sports related. Like I'll go to I've been to the UFC more recently than I just been to a like random NFL game. Like I don't really like going to NFL games. But you know what? If it's if people playing basketball, sign me up. I'm there. Rob, who is a KU alum, Rob, who has season tickets to KU, Rob, you can't find it in your heart to go watch Tyshawn Taylor play basketball one more time? You can't find. And then I could understand if they were like messing around. Like if this was like a charity thing, I'd be like, okay, yeah, why would I want to go watch? Like, I'm not even going to play. Like, there's potentially $1 million on the line. They're actually going to be trying hard and playing. You can get me to sign up for that. I'll go watch them play basketball. That's what they're going to do.
I'm excited preemptively for tomorrow you to have a topic on the show about the Elam ending. Because I have a hunch you're going to have some Elam ending thoughts after
I like
tonight.
the Elam ending.
Elam ending's awesome. I
like
love
it.
the Elam ending. Sign me up for some Elam ending. I will say, KU's been in this TBT tournament like 3 years in a row. They've lost around a 32 every time. Every time.
But you don't want them to lose to K-State, though.
No, don't. They lost to Wichita State one year in the round of 32. This
I just want to see Jacob Pullen give y'all buckets.
I've seen that in real life.
That's really why I just want to see Jacob Pullen give y'all buckets.
This is the second time you've seen Billy Preston. You've seen Billy Preston play basketball more than most KU fans.
I've probably seen him play more than you have.
I've seen him once. I've seen him the one.
It's the second time I've seen him play. Yeah, second time.
I saw him the one time. You're going to see a second Billy Preston outing.
Don't remind me of that. Don't remind me I'm going to watch Cliff Alexander play. I didn't need that.
What's your favorite Gerald Vick moment?
Oh, my goodness.
The roster's an odd grouping.
Yeah,
it also features 3 non-KU players who just were friends with these guys.
Yeah, because some of you guys just didn't want to play. All right, I'm looking at the last game. All right, I'm looking at who got minutes. You know what? Billy Preston's their best player.
He's 100% their best player.
Who would have guessed? Him and Cliff Alexander were hooping. Zeke Mayo, he's hooping too. He had 11 points in their last game.
Well, that's Zeke Mayo. That's a little bit unfair. I mean, he played high-level collegiate basketball 3 months ago.
He did?
Closer than any of those guys.
I mean, I'm just saying he did. Whatever happened to Billy Preston, man? Like, why didn't it work out?
He went to the G League and
who's Marcus Bell? He ain't from KU.
He ain't from KU. There's another one on there that's not from KU.
All right, I couldn't.
And K-State has a few non-K-Staters on there too.
No, but they would never do that. That's not how K-State gets down. You got to be really. You know what? I'm not even trying to be funny now. You know what I love about K-State fans? K-State fans love Kansas State. Like, you don't know a casual K-State fan. Not a single one. You know casual KU fans? Like Dana. I love Dana. Dana is a casual KU fan. No, casual. She pays attention when you should pay attention to Kansas athletics. Football team going good, Dana's all in. Basketball team, hey, it's getting close to March. Hey, I can wear a little Jayhawk tattoo on my face, go down to Power and Light, drink a beer, go to the game. Dana is casual KU. You don't know anybody like that for K-State. It's like a cult. I'm telling you, it's like the mob. Once you're in, you're in. You can't casually be in the mob. No, it's not how it works. You're in it. And that's how being a K-State fan is. They're in it. Sean Williams had 21. Austin Trice had 20. Jacob Pullen with 12. He didn't shoot it well at all.
Who were the first two guys? I guess Sean Williams.
Sean Williams and Austin Trice.
I have no recollection of Austin Trice at K-State.
Well, he was hooping. He had 20 in their last game. You better pay attention today because he about to give Cliff Alexander buckets later today is what he's finna do. Dominique Sutton, he had 15.
I remember Dominique Sutton's name.
Dominique Sutton had 15. So I'm just here to tell you, Jacob Pullen played 40 minutes. He was 3 of 13 from the floor. You know what that means? I got a hunch he's due. I got a hunch Jacob Pullen.
By the way, I have seen online Dave McCormick was inactive in game 1. He will return for game 2.
Oh, man.
There's going to be KU's plan just to throw the ball into the post with Preston, Alexander, and McCormick.
Oh, man. I can't wait. It's going to be a fun game. You sure you don't want to go?
I'm good.
That's crazy.
I will be watching on television tonight, though.
Yeah, I mean, what else are you going to watch? You going to watch the Royals lose to the Cubs 3-1?
Wind's blowing in, so bet the under.
I mean, the Royals are playing. Bet the under. I don't need the win. Perfect conditions, ideal conditions. The Royals going to score 2 runs regardless. I did watch the game that was Friday when they hit the Grand Slam, right? When the Stowers got there. I was watching that one. I didn't watch a whole lot of Royals baseball this weekend, but I did watch that. And I was like, that's the Royals. Then it was funny. I was sitting next to this guy, and this guy took the Royals on the money line. I looked at him, I was like, I'm from Kansas City. I wouldn't have told you to do that. I don't know why you did that. I have no clue why you took the Royals on the money line. That's not a smart bet. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison.
This man was a bona fide scrub.
On 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
In a world parched for excitement, one drink will emerge. Twisted Tea, the refreshing thrill ride of flavor. Recreating its classic role as the hard iced tea that goes down smooth. Twisted Tea doesn't just taste like real iced tea, it's made with real brewed tea and a 5% kick of alcohol. Taste the adventure with Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Keep it twisted.
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
Don't let clogged drains slow you down. Call Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter today for our $79 mainline drain cleaning special. The pros at Hamilton will inspect your drains with video camera technology to pinpoint exactly what is needed to clear those clogs and help prevent expensive drain repairs. The expert technicians at Hamilton are ready 7 days a week to solve your problem the right way, the first time. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 five-star reviews ensures your peace of mind. Visit callhamilton.com for details, terms, and conditions. License number 2025-11121.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
I love Hy-Vee, and I love the fact that they're always finding new ways to save me money, like lower prices in every department. And on top of that, I save so much money at the pump with Hy-Vee's awesome fuel saver deals. Monday, July 21st, earn a 40-cent discount per gallon with every $60 in groceries you purchase. So you can stock up for the summertime fun and stack up all of those fuel savings. Seeing that number roll back at the pump is so much fun, and saving money's even better. And you can do it with gas and groceries only at Hy-Vee.
If you love finding the deal and a bargain brings you bliss, the Hy-Vee 5-day sidewalk sale is cause for celebration. This Wednesday through Sunday, stock up and save big on dozens of pantry staples, like Roma pizzas, 4 for $10, Pepsi 24 packs, $9.99, Frito-Lay's chips, just $1.99, Gatorade 8-pack bottles, just $5.99, and Sunbelt granola bars, 4 for $10. Hurry to the huge 5-day sidewalk sale this week, only at Hy-Vee.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Paid for, client portrayal, and endorsement. Choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
After my car wreck, there was a lot I didn't know.
I do know. If you've been hurt in a car wreck, call me. I've got this.
Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Hey, it's Gold, and Circa Millions and Circa Survivor are back with a massive $21 million in guaranteed prizes. Circa Million, pick 5 games against the spread each week, 126 ways to win with $6 million guaranteed. Circa Survivor, 1 pick a week, no point spread, last the longest to win it all. $15 million guaranteed. Enter in Nevada, play from anywhere, $21 million guaranteed. Visit circasports.com for details.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place. For changes big and small. Loud or quiet. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Chiefs coverage sponsored by Renner Garage Door. RENNER forward and back.
Almost Andy Reid here. Renner Garage Door has proudly served KC for nearly 70 years. Get your free estimate today. RENNER forward and back.
RENNER. RENNER.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
3 wrecks to worry about right now. Northbound I-435 after Highway 32 Caw Drive. Northbound 35 before Metcalf. Eastbound Shawnee Mission Parkway stacking it up well past Metcalf. I'm Bill Brooks, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
This is 96.5 The Fan, your home for Chiefs football.
All right, I got a couple things before we get out of here. So I was off on Friday. One of my friends actually got tickets to go to the Pacquiao fight and asked me if I wanted to go. And I was like, yeah, of course. I don't know if any of you have ever got a chance to go to a high-level combat sport. I've been to UFC a couple of times when they've been here. This is the 3rd fight that I've been to. Rob, it's hard to explain the energy at a boxing match. It's really, really difficult. I always knew how popular Manny Pacquiao was, but it was one thing to see it in person and just like feel the energy when anything would happen that, you know, it was such a pro Pacquiao crowd. And I thought it was a really, really exciting fight. I actually thought Pacquiao won the fight, but boxing happened. I mean, we all know how that goes. Like, oh, it's a draw. They got to fight again. Like, I mean, you could see the jig hovering. But no, it's hard to explain if you haven't been. It's maybe the best way to describe it is, you know, at a football game, the energy you feel when a big tackle happens. You know what I'm talking about? Like when a guy just gets hit and it just, oh, everybody stands up and there's that like swell of emotion. Imagine if that happened 7-8 times in a very short, like the matches aren't long. They're 12 rounds, 3 minutes. Like it's not a long period of time. It's pretty continuous action. They only sit for a minute. Just imagine that happens multiple. It could happen in the same round twice. A little flurry, everybody gets excited and like, oh, something exciting is going to happen. Man, it was really good. The other thing I want to tell you guys about, I had heard about Peter Luger's. Have you heard of this Peter Luger Steakhouse before?
Isn't it a New York thing? But yes,
yeah, there's one in Vegas too. There's one in Caesar's Palace. So I had heard about this place, and I was like, man, I got to go for myself. Because the way that y'all talking about it, I just want to see. Rob, I'm telling you, that was the best food I ever had. I don't know what. They had this like cream spinach, and I'm not even a huge cream spinach guy, but they were like, oh, you should try it. I don't know what they did, but that food was amazing. The steak was good. The cream, I'm telling you, it was A1. I had an incredible time in Vegas. This is one of my favorite times going. I had a great time. Really good time. Happy to be back, but I had a great time.
Isn't Peter Luger's one that has like the sizzling steak?
Yeah, that's one I got. Yeah, I was like, man, I got to try it because y'all talking about it. No, I was telling you, it was great. I'm happy to be back, though. I'm happy to be back with you, Rob. That's really what it is. I missed you, my friend. My Friday wasn't the same. It was like, oh, man, where's Rob? There was a hole in my life that only you can fill. I gotta say pause. I felt like I gotta say pause.
Yeah, you beat me.
Feels like I gotta say that. It feels like I gotta say pause.
I don't know. Thank you. I don't know.
Once I said, I was like, whoa, hold on. That was a flagrant. I gotta put myself on a timeout. Someone said, you like it more than Red Lobster. Come on now. No, not at all. Not close. Peter ain't got nothing on Red Lobster. I'm telling you. I know people complain about how expensive Vegas is, and I mean, it is expensive, don't get me wrong, but we also forget, like, it's also a lot of fun. Like, that also matters, too. I mean, they do. Rob, hold on, turn the music down real quick. I got to tell you this. You know how you can go sit down and you can just get water from a place. Like, you don't have to you can sit down and get water. I am not joking. This person was at the bar. Can I have some water? They tried to charge him $9. I'm not $9 to pour water. I even had to look like, yo, what's going on here? This is crazy. It's The Drive.
Hey, it's Lucas Ursig from the Kansas City Royals. You're listening to The Drive with C-Dot on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve.